healthcare.
I'm Rhonda Swan, and welcome to the Wall Street Minute.
Today we're walking down Wall Street with Kathy Goldstein, a pioneer in functional aesthetics and the creator of Natural Facelift System.
Kathy, you talk about anti-aging is out.
Right.
But optimized energy living is in. What is the future of skincare?
Well, stress is a huge factor that actually does show up on our face. All of the stress is not just from our day, but from our entire life. So really, this is about looking at the skin as an entire system.
She believes stress is the root cause of aging.
True energy is a system that really works from a functional aspect. So meaning that if we have functional skincare, like functional nutrition, it actually is giving our system a way to resolve some of the issues that are the underlying issues that cause the aging lines.
Thank you for watching Wall Street Minute.
Denise, I don't have separation issues, but it clearly looks from the winds from these hurricanes, specifically Erin, that summer's leaving us.
Summer is leaving, yes.
Wow.
But look at those images, those waves, those winds, wow. And as our own Sarah Williamson reported, the sand was really biting.
Yeah, totally. But I hope people heed the
Yes,
warnings.
that is important.
Right? Don't get out there in that water because it
important.
looks really unsafe.
Yes.
Even if you're a good swimmer, it's actually problematic.
Very dangerous, yes. So that is important, and I hope this will die down sooner rather than later.
Exactly. And the thing is that it's all up and down the East Coast.
Right.
It's not just, off the coast of North Carolina, as Sarah Williamson reported earlier.
Mm-hmm.
It's all the way up north, even New York here. The winds are actually picking up a little bit.
Yeah.
It's feeling like late fall.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Well, I hope it calms down.
Well, that does it for us this Thursday. Before we go, though, let's all wish our booking producer, Quentin, as you can see here, he's the black guy, with a big, beautiful smile, wishing him a happy birthday. And as you can see, we are a happy team on First Edition. That's the team that produces this show, and we thank them for it. They do a
Yes.
great job every day.
Thank you, everyone. Happy birthday to Quentin. And folks, we'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning. Next is News Now.
Go behind closed doors to witness biblical counseling with real people. Transformed, Monday and Thursday on theDove TV, encouraging and informative.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Mornings on the Dove, and beginning of a heat wave today across the Pacific Northwest, so get ready for that. Here's the guy that's always hot. His name's Jerry.
Well, we weren't quite ready for that.
Okay.
Good morning.
So my job is to cool him down.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay. He comes in hot.
Yeah, I do. I come into the parking lot a little hot once in a while.
I noticed you. There you are.
Yeah, I will say, I admit that.
The only good thing about your truck is I can hear you coming off the freeway. When you're driving that thing.
Everybody else can too.
Everybody else.
Yeah.
Anyway, good morning to you. Happy Thursday. A lot going on in the news. And like I said, this is the beginning of about a 3.5 day heat wave on the Pacific Northwest. And they're encouraging people, get ready for it. The cooling centers will be available. Leave cold water in a shady spot for your animals. High extreme fire danger, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So be careful out there. So what's going on?
Well, first of all, it's National Senior Citizens Day. First of all, have you noticed that senior citizens have changed since we were young? When we were young, senior citizens were old.
Yeah.
Now they're not anymore.
No. We'll leave it at that.
Senior citizens have been pioneers in science, medicine, psychology, civil rights, and much more. In fact, there are a lot of Facebook posts. It's got a picture of all these young teenage gals in mini skirts and stuff in front of GTOs and Camaros and stuff, and saying, "This is your grandma. She was cooler than you'll ever be."
Boy, that's true.
It is.
That's really true. That's a good one.
So anyway, enjoy it. If you made it there, enjoy it. It's your day.
All right.
Also National Spumoni Day. Celebrating a delicious frozen treat which hails from southern Italy. The creamy creation often includes candied fruits and nuts in 2 layers with a 3rd chocolate layer. According to the Chicago Tribune, a genuine spumoni recipe was brought to the United States in 1905, and their traditional recipe called for 3 layers of semifreddo. What in the world is that? An almond layer, semi-sweet chocolate, and stracciatella.
Sure.
A type of gelato with irregular bits of chocolate in it. However, in the United States, we've changed it. Most spumoni will include a cherry layer with cherry bits, a layer of pistachio ice cream, and a layer of chocolate. Other varieties include hazelnut, vanilla, strawberry, pineapple, just to name a few. There's a lot of stuff in spumoni.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so enjoy. If you like spumoni, a lot of cherries in there.
Yeah, it doesn't have the cream that ice cream has.
Yeah, well, that's true.
It's a little less creamier than ice cream.
Yeah, it's like,
a little more air in it, I think.
Right, it must be that thing they call gelato.
There you go.
Whatever that is.
Whatever that is.
Yeah, so.
We don't care as long as it tastes good.
Yeah, well, talking of cherries and fruits and vegetables and stuff in your ice cream, how about prunes? What is the thing that we say when we're all lined up for a picture and they got you framed, they say, okay, everybody say cheese.
Yeah.
Cheese.
Cheese.
Not in Victorian days.
No.
In Victorian days, they said prunes.
Oh, really?
Because, obviously.
I tell people to say money.
Money. Oh, that works. Yeah.
Money always gets a smile.
Well, and that's why we do it. It makes us smile. However, smiling in photographs was once seen as a vulgar act. To keep a neutral face, they would say prunes.
Yeah.
There was little or no chance of it forming a smile. So all these Victorian pictures we have here, everybody looks like they have a mouthful of prunes.
Okay. So the prunes are
prunes
down in the Central Valley. They do a lot of them, especially in and around Marysville, Yuba City. They grow a lot of prunes down there.
Okay.
And Peggy's late uncle, he was just a hoot of a guy. He'd go down and he'd buy these boxes of little bags of prunes, like we'd have maybe 6 or 7 half prunes, in them, sun-kissed prunes,
Yeah.
So he'd bring them up here, and he'd go see all his friends, and when he'd come into their office, he'd take a bag of prunes and he'd throw it on their desk and he says, "Here, start a movement."
Well, on this National Senior Citizens Day, that one's for you.
So
You heard it here first.
He'd throw prunes around and say, "Here, start a movement." Okay. Here's a guy that's a movement of his own right here.
Look at our weather from Grange Co-op. Building high pressure will produce a multi-day stretch of high temperatures. So today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, sunny with a high in the upper 80s in Vancouver and low 90s for Portland, Wilsonville, and McMinnville. Continuing sunny as we move down the Willamette Valley with daytime high temperatures in the low 90s for Salem, Albany, Corvallis, and Eugene, with a light north wind in the afternoon gusting up to 20 miles per hour. Sunny skies across the central Oregon high desert with daytime highs climbing into the low 90s for Prineville and mid to upper 80s for Bend and Sun River. Over in Boise, Idaho, sunny with highs in the low 90s. A beautiful day along the coast with sunny skies and daytime high temperatures in the mid-70s for Coos Bay, low 70s in Port Orford, near 62 in Brookings, and mid to upper 60s for Crescent City, California. In southern Oregon, sunny and hot for the Rogue Valley with highs in the upper 90s for Grants Pass, near 100 in Medford and 96 in Ashland, sunny in the Klamath Basin with highs in the low to mid-90s. Into northern California, sunny with a high in the mid to upper 90s for Wairika, sunny and hot for Redding with a high near 106, Chico near 103, and Sacramento with a high near 102 and a light northwest wind. In the Bay Area, sunny in mid-90s for Santa Rosa, mostly sunny in low 90s in Napa, mostly sunny in San Francisco with a high in the mid-70s and a southwest wind gusting up to 18 miles per hour, and today in San Jose, sunny in mid-90s. A snapshot of our Thursday weather from Grange Co-op.
All right, a snapshot of our beautiful sunrise this morning. As you can tell, the days are getting a little shorter, but a gorgeous, getting ready for a gorgeous sunrise as we look to the northeast off the top of Roxy Ann. And if you look way out there, that pointed little mountain, Jerry lives at the top of that.
Yeah, hey, I've been up there. Yeah, but not not lately, certainly.
It's bald now. It normally has a white cap on it, but not now.
Yeah, but
that's
hang on. We'll get a good winter coming, I
think so, yeah.
I feel in my bones.
In the bones.
Even the ones that are healing.
In that right bone.
Even the ones that are screwed together.
There you
Anyway,
go.
well, with that pruny opening, it's time for a little bit of encouragement, and we have it here with Ann Graham Lotz.
Oh, and I love this. Verse 10. A hand touched me and set me trembling on my hands and knees, and he said, Daniel, you're highly esteemed. Consider carefully the words I'm about to speak to you. Stand up, for I've now been sent to you. And when he said this to me, I stood up trembling. And then he continued, don't be afraid, Daniel. Since the first day you set your mind to gain understanding, to humble yourself before your God, your words were heard. And I've come in response to them. Heaven responds. You hear that? God answers prayer. And when you pray, heaven is moving. Our prayers move heaven, especially the reverse thunder type prayer. When you receive a promise from God and you're praying it back to Him and all the things we talked about this morning, heaven is moving, heaven responds, and heaven rallies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I heard it was the late E.V. Hill. He's quite a preacher.
Oh, yeah.
He's the one that preached the sermon, Why Jezebel and Hail.
Yes.
But he preached a sermon on it. When you're a powerful preacher, you remember the sermons,
Mm-hmm.
But he preached a sermon on what happens when you pray in Jesus' name and what engages heaven.
Oh.
I mean, it's like when you say in Jesus' name, it's like flipping the light switch.
Yeah.
But not just the light in the room. It's like turning the factory on. And he took him an hour to say that.
Of course. Yeah.
But he went through all the moving parts,
Yes.
Good morning to you. Happy Thursday, better known as Friday Eve.
Yeah.
Where'd this week go?
Yeah. Ooh.
All right, let's take a look at some of the top stories. Pretty interesting stuff out there. Well, I've been following this story, but finally it made headlines because I didn't want to say much about it, but it made headlines yesterday.
Okay.
Roughly 4.5 million Democrats have left the party.
Oh.
The Democratic Party, it basically is hemorrhaging. And basically there's no end in sight. And they're asking the question, what's going on? Well, the only thing I can say is, duh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so the Republicans have added 4.5 million to their voting rolls. The Democrats have lost 2.1 million registered voters between 20 and 24 in 30 states.
Wow.
Okay, and they're thinking the number, it continues to go with a total of over 4 million people have said to the Democrats, sorry, we're done with you guys.
No kidding. That's
this is big.
Yeah.
Well, I think what it is, folks, if it wasn't for the legacy media, they'd be totally out of business.
Yeah.
But the legacy media is keeping the nonsense alive.
They carry their water. Yep.
Yeah. And so, anyway, that's kind of interesting. But going in the midterm, and I have another story here that'll emphasize that. Okay. Hillary's got problems.
Uh-oh.
You'd think this stuff that goes away. Former Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton. Apparently, all this new stuff coming out from the Intelligence Department, and also as the Durham Annex report is coming available, there is complaints being filed against her in the state of Arkansas to remove her law license for ethics violation.
I wonder what that's about.
Well, it's not as if she's practicing law.
Well, yeah,
but this would be a blow. Joe, Bill had to give up his because of Monica.
Exactly right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So apparently they're connecting the dots that she had ethics violations relative to the Russia hoax.
Well, imagine that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure it's some kind of Trump retribution, right?
Yeah. I'm sure it is. Yeah. In the meantime, National Director of Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, what an amazing person. Yeah. She says over the next couple of, between now and the end of the year, she plans on cutting the department by 40%.
I heard, yeah.
She's already fired 37 people inside that were basically Democratic moles.
Okay.
And she stripped them of their clearances and got rid of them, but more is coming. And so she was on Jesse Waters talking about this, and here's what she had to say. Nope. Okay, there it is.
The Office of the Director of National Intelligence was created 20 years ago in the wake of the egregious and strategic intelligence failures around the Islamist terrorist attack on 9/11 in our country. And this office was created by Congress to get after those problems, to make sure that there is one independent body providing that oversight over the intelligence community, integrating intelligence, making sure that the left hand is sharing information with the right hand, and fundamentally and most importantly, ensuring that the intelligence that is being provided to the President of the United States is timely, it is relevant, and it is apolitical, objective. That he is actually getting the information he needs to make the critical decisions that he makes every single day. Fast forward to where we are today. ODNI has more than doubled in size. It is bloated with bureaucracy. It is rife with politicization, weaponization, the very thing that it was created to try to prevent and get after. And unfortunately, it has failed to meet its mandate. And so this launch today of ODNI 2.0, as you said, we will save taxpayers more than $700 million every year, cutting the organization by over 40% and making sure that those who are working at the Office of the Director of National Intelligence are aggressively getting after our core mission, which is really ensuring the safety, security, and freedom of.
Okay, so, I think she brings up something we forgot.
Yeah.
ODNI came into existence as post 9/11.
Right, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And look what it's morphed into.
Yeah.
So this just shows you the morphification, I guess.
Yeah.
When government gives birth to an agency.
Yeah, they give birth and it starts to grow and grow
and it becomes a cancer.
Yes.
So anyway, so there you go.
All right.
Pretty interesting.
Yes.
A couple of other quick stories. The big one started off was they thought maybe the final vote would come today, but it actually came yesterday. And the Texas House yesterday passed the new congressional map, blasting through the Democratic roadblock. The vote, now listen to this. Earlier I had the story where the people are leaving the Democratic Party.
Yeah, yeah.
The vote in the House of Texas for redistricting was 88 to 52.
Oh. Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, away it goes. And so the House passed the redistricting plan, projected now to give Republicans as many as 5 additional U.S. House seats in 2026. Now, here's the deal. The Democrats are going to try to make this a legal court case between now and the midterm elections, which means it probably won't see a courtroom until sometime around maybe December, January. We'll see what happens. I don't know if this goes anywhere.
Yeah.
Because they just flat got outvoted.
Right.
That's all it is. Yeah. They got outvoted. And this is an amazing thing because, there's like 16 states that have no Republican representation.
That's a great point. And I was listening to Wu, the speaker, he's not speaker, he was the head of the Democrats.
Yeah, he's the caucus leader.
Caucus leader in Texas. And he said, Americans should learn how we've gotten here. Well, that's how we've gotten here. You said it absolutely. You said it best.
Well, the Democrats do great blaming you for what they're doing. The problem is now they're eating themselves the pie that they made.
Right, right.
And they don't like the taste of it.
And if this redistricting goes to court, will Gavin's redistricting go to court as well?
Here's the problem. Good point, because Gavin says, well, I'm going to take care of that. I'm going to redistrict California and add those 5 seats for Democrats.
Yeah.
Here's the problem. Gavin is trying to do reapportionment when it's not due. So it has to go to the people to be voted on for him to push through a redistricting consideration in the Assembly. So here's my thought on that. If Californians are that stupid to give them a green light to do it, then they deserve what it gets. Okay? Yeah. And here's the irony.
Wow.
If Newsom gets that through, then the lawsuit against Texas is null and void.
Well, you would think it would be.
Yeah. But unfortunately, let me ask you this. What is left in California to turn blue other than a few seats up here in Northern California?
Super majority in California. Yeah, where else can you go?
Look at Oregon.
Right. Oh, yeah. Look at the whole left coast.
Oregon has 1 Republican representation in the whole state out of 6, and they're going to lose 1.
And what percent is Republican in this state?
I think we're 43%.
And we have one?
One. But it has a lot to do with geographics.
Right, and districting, and we see that state by state by state. And
yeah. So it's an oddity here. I don't think that lawsuit goes anywhere. And but the Democrats have another problem.
What?
It's not redistricting. They're losing people.
Yeah.
They're so ridiculous, and I don't know if Gavin Newsom ends up being the torchbearer for the DNC in 2028. I don't know what he runs on.
Yeah.
Other than being angry at President Trump.
Well, yeah. When there's a certain amount of his base that's enough.
Well, those are just some of the stories we have today. You know.
Yeah, we have Spumoni. I'll pass.
It's okay.
Okay.
It's not great.
All right, I'll have a fajita. Well, that was the other day.
Fajitas. Okay. How about some prunes? We'll be right back.
You are faithful, God, forever.
Grange Co-op, where big ideas grow.
Hellgate Jetboat Excursions is throwing it back every Thursday. Book one quick and scenic excursion at regular price and get the second ticket for only $19.59 every Thursday. Glide inches above the river, see the native wildlife, and experience the majestic views of the legendary Hellgate Canyon. Don't miss the best of the Pacific Northwest with our 2-hour excursion. It's Throwback Thursday all season long with our buy one, get one for $19.59. Call 541-479-7204 to book. Some restrictions apply. Visit hellgate.com for details.
Paul Allen is a Minnesota sports icon.
The Vikings have a 9-0 lead.
And he sits down with CBN Sports' Tom Buring.
That's the first time that I've ever talked about this.
It's a Minneapolis miracle!
If Jesus Christ were to join you as your guest in a booth, how would you introduce him?
Wow, is that a weird question, but it's a beautiful question.
Thursday on the 700 Club, right here on the Dove TV.
Hi, I'm the SOS Alarm guy, here to tell you about a great deal. SOS Alarm will not only beat any internet deal, but will install the system too. So burglars, beware. SOS Alarm for security and beyond.
At Sweet Tea Express, we've got you covered. Order at the counter and our friendly service staff will do the rest. Breakfast served daily until 2 p.m. Breakfast burritos, biscuits and gravy, skillets, omelets, and more. Sweet Tea Express. Don't get caught hungry.
Okay, good morning. How y'all doing out there? Happy Thursday, better known as Friday Eve, and the beginning of a heat streak, hot streak here in the Pacific Northwest, and triple digits forecasted starting today, actually. I don't know if we'll see triple digits here, but through the weekend you're going to see it, so get ready for it. All right, a couple things. As you know, the governor of Oregon is still pushing for Friday, a week from tomorrow, to have a special session to deal with the $350 million deficit for ODOT. And the proposal on the table is 6 cents per gallon. Registration fees up by $42 and title fees increased by $139. Look, folks, you've heard me jump on this horse and ride it pretty hard, and I come to find out I'm just shocked about how many people don't care.
Yeah.
But we are losing a congressional seat because people are leaving the state.
Yeah.
That ought to tell you something.
Right.
We are the second highest gas state in the union.
Second highest, what, taxes?
Taxes.
Okay.
Taxes. So we're going to add to that.
Oh, wow.
So the only thing I can say is that session's coming up a week from tomorrow. Write your letters to every legislator, both in the House and the Senate, and to the governor. You don't want this.
Yeah.
And you might want to send a letter to Minority Leader Christine Drazan in the House. She is putting together a plan. Don't go for taxes. Let's go into the rainy day fund, fund it there, and then call for an audit of the agency.
Yeah.
I mean, duh. That's called Business 101.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm pretty.
Why don't people care about this? What's going on?
Well, it's perfect because they couldn't get it through the House, which ought to tell you something. Couldn't get it through, the last session. It shows you how contentious it is.
Yeah.
So let's do it in the middle of summer when nobody cares.
There you go.
Okay?
Yeah.
And people are out vacationing, doing their thing, and not paying attention. And writing a letter to your legislator is like having a root canal on a sunny day. So you're not going to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
All right.
Here's another little story outside of our area, but I think this is indicative. Do you remember during the Biden administration, and I want to say this respectfully, in a maybe unrespectful way,
okay,
and that is the Biden administration did not like anything Christian.
Right, yeah.
And they went after the the Arizona Christian University, and they were sending the Federal Trade Commission in on them to fine them, and it was millions and millions of dollars. And it was all a hoax because that whole thing got dumped yesterday.
Oh, it did?
Yeah, the Federal Trade Commission drops the lawsuit against the Grand Canyon Christian University.
Right.
Now, they have 118,000 students. Now, most of them are online. Very successful university.
Okay.
But they were going after them, thinking there was fraud in the way that they managed their money and everything else.
Right, right.
And it was just, they didn't go after Harvard.
Oh, of course not. No.
Didn't go after Yale. Didn't go after Columbia University.
No.
So the bottom line is the FTC dropped the case yesterday.
Excellent. That's good news. We've been following
I can't help but think
yeah.
that was Bondi sticking her nose in it.
Yeah. Oh, I wonder.
Yeah.
Yep.
The next story is sad.
Oh.
Okay. I don't know if you ever saw the reality show called Caught in Providence. I actually tried to get this program for theDove.
Oh.
It was an amazing program. It was a judge, Frank Caprio, and he would sit at the bench, and these people would come in and plead their case.
Yes.
And the whole show was based upon redemption.
Yes. Yeah. I remember some
and
of those clips.
It was a classic show. And the stories, some of them were hilarious, and some of them were heart-rendering.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a great show. But at the end of the day, what he was practicing was redemption.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very, very popular. Well, he passed away at the age of 88. And a little bit of Megyn Kelly on her show, she talked about him. Here it is.
First, you have great parents who treat you, like human beings instead of an apostle. And you follow their footsteps. Whatever lessons they taught you as a child, you then incorporate into your life in treating other people that way. Some people think, for example, if you come from a position of power, like a judge, that you have to use that power, in adverse ways. I never thought that. I thought it was a tool for good. I thought it was a tool for understanding people, for helping them if I could, to let them know that I understood their problems. The thing that impresses me the most is the lack of understanding and civility among people. I was brought up in a working class family. My dad was a milkman. I delivered newspapers. I helped him on the truck. And it always was the lessons from my dad were, treat people honorably and with respect and compassion and understanding.
Well, he, in the last couple of months, was fighting pancreatic cancer. And unfortunately, he lost his life just a couple of days ago at the age of 88. His program, I'm sure the reruns will be out there. But if you ever get a chance, I guess you could go to YouTube and watch the program Caught in Providence. And we tried hard to get I tried hard to get his program, but he was obligated in other areas, and you can't fight some of that stuff.
Right.
But the point being is that he was a humble man, and his whole show was built upon redemption. So anyway, blessings to his family and his team. Good stuff all the way around. All right, let's take a look at the satellite image, and here's what it says: hot.
hot and clear. And who are you going to believe? I have two apps here. Apple says it's going to be about 101 tomorrow. National Weather Service says 105. So who are you going to believe?
103.
Yeah, I like that.
I'll believe 103.
And much the
That's
same.
from my AI.
Much the same for Saturday as well. And then just backing down a little bit on Sunday and, cool 104.
Okay.
Okay. Well, we look at war. We look at the conflicts that are going on around the world, and we look at the humanitarian crisis that goes on inside and around war. But how about it being bullish? Well, how about peace being bullish? Well, former Reagan economist Art Laffer thinks that a peace deal would be bullish, and he joined Larry Kudlow to talk about his optimism for the economic markets as President Trump makes strides.
It's extraordinarily bullish. This is not only bullish for the stock market, for the economy, but for the world at large. It's one of the most wonderful things. I can remember with Reagan, we had something very similar to the Iran bombing just a while ago to really set the record. Reagan went into Libya and bombed Gaddafi's tent, his home, killed, I think, Gaddafi's daughter, but it showed he was deadly serious. From then on, we knew that peace was coming. He made the deal with Gorbachev, the peace, the reduction in arms. I mean, this is a complete, the same thing is going on right now. It's just incredibly good news for not only the stock market, but also for the world. I couldn't be happier than I am. Reagan set the tone for the world, and the world followed the American example, and Trump is setting the tone for the world right now, and believe me, all of these other countries are going to follow suit when they see how wonderful the results are for the U.S. and for world peace, Larry. I just can't tell you, the Middle East, the Houthis, if we can keep China out of Taiwan, it's just bullish, bullish, bullish for the world, and I just am praying and hoping that he's successful in all of these ventures, and I think he will be.
Wow.
Yeah, the big one's in front of them right now. So we'll see what happens with Russia and Ukraine.
Yep.
Watching it with great curiosity. So I don't know what to say about it. I just got a funny feeling. Right now, everybody's being bullish for their own territory. Ukraine's standing up saying no, 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 no. Russia's standing up going no, 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 no. Okay. And the president's sitting over there going, you guys, okay, don't worry about it. I have the hammer.
He does, yeah.
I got the hammer.
He's got sanctions.
So do I drop it on Ukraine?
Right.
Or do I drop it on Russia?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know. All right, we'll take a prune break. We'll be right back.
The threat of wildfire poses a growing risk to Oregonians. You can prepare now by taking 3 important steps. Create a home inventory, make copies of important financial records, and contact your insurance company to make sure you have the right amounts and types of home insurance coverage. Be wildfire ready by being insurance ready. Visit dfr.oregon.gov/prepare now to learn how.
Chris Silva understands your home and your commercial buildings are 2 of the largest investments most people make in a lifetime. One is for your family, the other is to support your family financially. That is why Chris Silva Painting goes the extra mile to protect both homes and commercial buildings with proper painting preparation and high-quality primers and paints. Serving Southern Oregon since 2006, this family-owned and operated business has painted over 1,000 homes. Chris Silva Painting offers an industry-leading 5-year warranty that covers materials and labor on all painting projects work for both residential and commercial buildings, both interior and exterior painting. Chris and his crew are courteous, they are efficient, organized, timely, and clean. Chris Silva Painting also offers military discounts. At Chris Silva Painting, our mission statement is to bring Christ's heart and principles to our customers and our job sites. We do that with honesty, integrity, and hard work. We don't cut corners, we paint them. CCB number 176097. Chris Silva Painting, 541-890-3960.
Finding that next great series to binge watch is fun, but your neck, shoulders, and body don't count that as me time. Hi, I'm Tamara Miller, owner of Organic Element Spa, and I invite you to put down the remote, get off the couch, and schedule yourself some real me or we time with your favorite service, like one of our many massages, couples massages, or facials. Your health, safety, and comfort are always top priority with us at Organic Element Spa. We can't wait to see you. Book your appointment today.
Hi, good morning to you. Happy Thursday. Today is prune day.
All day.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
By the way, aside from all the fun stuff, do you like them?
Actually, I do, yeah. They're good.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah.
Do you like them sliced, or do you just take them right off the vine?
Why not? Well, off the vine, the prunes, aren't they plums?
Well, kind of, sort of.
Yeah.
So, do you like prune juice?
I'm not really big on prune juice, but yeah.
It's not bad, but you got to make sure that you get pure prune juice. You don't want the stuff that's been filtered and sugared up.
Oh, well, true, yeah. You got to be careful. You got to read labels these days.
So, with all the fancy drinks through a kiosk these days, you get you get a slushy made out of anything.
Right, yeah.
Prune?
Why not? I mean, there are a lot of health benefits, I'm sure.
A prune freeze? Or?
Yeah. Prune shake?
A prune shake?
Prunes alcoholic. This is going too far.
I don't know. I mean,
no, it's gone too far.
You want to blend it or over ice?
Oh, no. Help us.
Okay, we'll check in with CBN Newswatch. We'll be right back.
This is CBN Newswatch.
Thank you so much for joining us for CBN Newswatch on this Thursday, August 21st. I'm Ephraim Graham. We're going to begin this half hour in the Middle East. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is accelerating his operation against Hamas in Gaza City. He's ordered the IDF to shorten the timelines to conquer the last terrorist stronghold in Gaza. Despite the war, hundreds of Jews from the United States are moving to Israel to start new lives. Paul Petit is more right now on our top story, reporting from Tel Aviv.
As Israel's offensive in the Gaza Strip ramps up, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is still considering the ceasefire deal Hamas has agreed to. Since the last ceasefire ended in March, the Israel Defense Forces say they've eliminated over 2,100 Hamas operatives, including senior commanders, and now control 75% of the Strip. During a visit to the IDF's Gaza division, Netanyahu praised the troops.
I was impressed by the fighting spirit and determination to complete the defeat of Hamas and the release of all of our hostages.
In Jerusalem, IDF leaders presented plans to capture Gaza City, and Netanyahu ordered the timeline moved up to take the city even faster. In Judea and Samaria, also known as the West Bank, Israel's finance minister announced a project to build 3,400 housing units in a disputed area. Smotrich called a two-state solution with the Palestinians a two-state delusion.
The time has come to fully apply Israeli sovereignty over Judea and Samaria, the West Bank, to forever remove from the table the idea of dividing the land and to make sure that by September, Europe's hypocrite leaders will simply have nothing to recognize.
Wednesday also marked the first Aliyah flight since October 7th, bringing 225 Jewish Americans and Canadians to make Israel their home.
We're fulfilling a dream of dreams. We're trying to come and rebuild the land and be a part of the Jewish people who have been going through a lot the last couple of years.
Aliyah in Hebrew means to go up or to ascend. So at Bible times, they went up to Jerusalem to celebrate the feasts. And for these people arriving today, it's just as important. They're here to fulfill a lifelong dream, begin again, even to help out in a time of war.
This is great. Exciting. I'm excited. Yeah, it's amazing. Overwhelming, but it's really, really cool to see everyone out here like this. Yeah.
These two are moving from St. Louis and Los Angeles and will be enlisted in a program that helps IDF soldiers.
It feels right. Home is home, and I think it feels the most right for me personally to come give back and be here. That's where I feel closest to my family and to myself.
I'm the same way. I just feel like it's the right thing for me right now, and I feel very connected to Israel, and it's the place I want to be.
In Tel Aviv, Paul Petit, CBN News.
And our CBN News Middle East Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell is joining us now from near the Gaza border. Chris, today marked the first time an Aliyah flight made landfall in Israel since the war began. Can you tell us more about this and the bringing of Jews and Americans, as well as Canadians, to make Israel their home?
Well, after many times you go down to Ben Gurion Airport and see something like Paul reported on yesterday, it's really prophecy being fulfilled. This is what the prophet said would happen. Ezekiel, Isaiah, Jeremiah foretold that the return of the Jews to the land. It's happening after 2,000 years of being dispersed to the nations of the world. This particular Aliyah is significant because I think there was 1,000 people in the month of August, marking maybe the biggest month in many years. So this is very significant. It's also significant for two reasons. First of all, they're coming during a war. And despite the war, they feel like this is the place they need to be. The other thing is that there's such a rise of global anti-Semitism. And that's certainly one factor of why Jewish people, not only from North America, but places like France and Europe, the UK, feel like it's time to get out of their particular countries and come here and live in Israel.
Can you tell us more about the first stage of the Gaza operation? As we said at the start, you are near the Gaza border right now.
Yeah, we're not too far from the Gaza border. It's not too far behind us, Ephraim. By the way, if you can hear something, there's a drone going right above us. Right now, it's called Operations Gideon's Chariots 2. This is the second phase of what began a few months ago, where the IDF is not only fighting Hamas in different ways, but what they're doing now is controlling territory and maintaining that control over the territory. They control now about 75% of the land of the Gaza Strip. And right now they've actually begun encroaching on Gaza City. They're also giving evacuation orders to the people of Gaza to get out of harm's way and to go south and get into safety.
Okay, wow. All right. Just coming in, we'll get more details on it here in just a moment, but we were just given word that Dr. James Dobson has passed away at the age of 89. Of course, we know him as being focused on the family, quite the advocate for the family, authored over 70 books on the family, and was a strong voice for everything that was pro-family. Yeah. And so we'll get more information on that, but apparently that news release was just given a little while ago. All right, let's check out the weather with Mr. Jerry Bilden right here.
A look at our weather from Grange Co-op. Building high pressure will produce a multi-day stretch of high temperatures. So today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, sunny with a high in the upper 80s in Vancouver and low 90s for Portland, Wilsonville, and McMinnville. Continuing sunny as we move down the Willamette Valley with daytime high temperatures in the low 90s for Salem, Albany, Corvallis, and Eugene, with a light north wind in the afternoon gusting up to 20 miles per hour. Sunny skies across the central Oregon high desert with daytime highs climbing into the low 90s for Prineville and mid to upper 80s for Bend and Sun River. Over in Boise, Idaho, sunny with highs in the low 90s. A beautiful day along the coast with sunny skies and daytime high temperatures in the mid 70s for Coos Bay, low 70s in Port Orford, near 62 in Brookings, and mid to upper 60s for Crescent City, California. In southern Oregon, sunny and hot for the Rogue Valley with highs in the upper 90s for Grants Pass, near 100 in Medford and 96 in Ashland, sunny in the Klamath Basin with highs in the low to mid 90s. Into northern California, sunny with a high in the mid to upper 90s for Wairika, sunny and hot for Redding with a high near 106, Chico near 103, and Sacramento with a high near 102 and a light northwest wind. In the Bay Area, sunny in mid-90s for Santa Rosa, mostly sunny in low 90s in Napa, mostly sunny in San Francisco with a high in the mid-70s and a southwest wind gusting up to 18 miles per hour, and today in San Jose, sunny in mid-90s. A snapshot of our Thursday weather from Grange Co-op.
All right, there's the picture of our valley, and sun's not quite all the way up yet. At least it's shining on the west side hills, but not on the east side yet. So, but you can see the haze, and that means hot.
Yeah. Hey, have you noticed that animated films these days doesn't necessarily mean that they're safe for kids, as it was in the olden days? Well, it had all the qualities that made Disney animated films great, and it was released on this day in history.
On August 21st, 1942, Walt Disney released one of his most beloved animated classics, Bambi. Based on the novel by Felix Salten, the film told the story of a young deer growing up in the forest, learning about friendship, loss, and the circle of life. While Bambi is remembered for its emotional moments, it also broke ground in animation, with stunning detailed backgrounds and lifelike movement inspired by real animals studied by Disney's artists. At first, the movie wasn't a big box office hit. World War II limited its international release, but over time, Bambi became a cultural touchstone. Generations have grown up with its memorable characters, Thumper the rabbit, Flower the skunk, and of course, Bambi himself. Today, more than 80 years later, the film still stands as a reminder of the beauty of nature and the power of storytelling through animation.
And all of it hand-drawn. You know, those artists were amazing.
Yeah,
the detail work they did.
One move at a time.
Yes, and those panels. Once in a while, I see a Disney film panel like that come into Pawn Stars, and Rick grabs it right away.
Yeah.
They're always trying to verify, is this real? Is this, because they're worth money.
They're worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
All right, well, this is an interesting story. How do you save a church?
Great question.
You know, I've seen churches get demolished for various reasons, you know. Churches sometimes are zoned out of existence.
Yeah.
There was a move in California, still may be there, I don't know, I haven't paid attention to it lately. There was a move that they had to tax church parking lots because there was nothing religious going on with the parking lot.
That, yeah.
Especially if the parking lot was being used by other businesses throughout the day. All kinds of nonsense. Yeah. Well, this is a great story of a church in Sweden, and apparently the land around it and everything was shifting and moving. So how did they save it? The church dates back to 1912, 113 years old. So what did they do? They're going to pick it up and move it. And they're going to move this church, and there it is. They picked it up on rollers.
Whoa!
This is in, is it Kiruna?
Look at that.
Kiruna, Sweden.
Okay.
Thousands of people lined the way, and they picked up the whole building and moved it 3 miles.
Oh, my goodness.
Isn't this?
That's fabulous.
Isn't that wonderful?
Oh, my goodness.
And I guess thousands of people along, there's a route, how far they had to move it from one place to the other. But thousands of people lined.
Oh, I want to see this. You know, there's a program on TV that's called that deals with mega moves, moving things. Just like, I'm sure they're going to cover this one. This is fabulous.
Well, it was a big crowd. They picked up the whole thing. It was weeks getting it propped up, and then it was. If you look at this, the engineering of this. Look at this.
Yeah.
Look at the beams underneath it.
Look at all the wheels.
Look at all the wheels.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. And they slowly moved this whole building.
Oh, man.
Not a window was broken, and they moved it 3 miles.
That's amazing.
The whole thing.
And it's not just like a box-shaped building.
No.
I mean, this is very unusually shaped.
You read the whole story, and you can go online and see this, but they had to clear the roadway, wires, everything, move some other things out of the way. They planned the route for a long time, and some of the twists and turns of a building on a street, but they moved it.
Did you say how long it took? I wonder what kind of a journey, how long that journey was.
Took 2 days.
2 days, okay.
2 days to go 3 miles.
Wow.
I guess so.
It's a beautiful church.
Isn't it beautiful?
Yeah.
And it's brick.
Yeah. Oh.
Can you imagine what that thing weighed?
No. Wow. What do you just jack that baby up and put it on, get that trailer underneath there?
You know, so I would hope that there's some iconic things all over the place. Now in Jacksonville, we have the original church there in Jacksonville, the Presbyterian Church. Goes back into the 1800s.
Yeah.
And there it still stands, you know.
Yeah.
With the bell tower and everything. There's a story that one of the former pastors, way back in the 1800s, of that church, literally climbed the roof and re-roofed it.
Really?
Can you imagine a pastor up there on a roof?
No.
It's got a tower bell tower, steep like that, and he's up there re-roofing the thing, using mules and.
Is that church used for regular services anymore?
Yeah, it's used a lot for a lot of stuff.
Okay.
So anyway, I thought that was a fun story.
Cool.
Good morning to you. We're gonna. I guess we've run out of prune jokes.
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
The gift that keeps on giving.
I don't know. If you're on pain medication, you may want to.
Oh.
We'll be right back.
You're right.
From the day you saved my soul to the very moment when I come home, I'll sing, I'll dance, my heart will overflow.
At Sweet Tea Express, we've got you covered. Order at the counter and our friendly service staff will do the rest. Burgers, salads, sandwiches, barbecue platters, sides, and more. Smoked, grilled, and served to perfection. Sweet Tea Express. Breakfast, burgers, and barbecue.
Grange Co-op, where big ideas grow.
Put your gold in an envelope, mail it. Hopefully you get a check. No. Father and son jewelry, bring your gold in, we weigh it, we check it, we make you the offer.
Or turn your something old into something new. Whether it's an idea, a picture, or a piece you want to duplicate, we can melt it down and make it for you.
If you find your perfect piece in store, trade your something old for something new, and you always get a little extra.
Visit Father and Son Jewelry, 5 generations of family in Medford. Have you seen Mornings on the Dove?
They're trying to track down what and how did the auto pen of former President Joe Biden was used? And did the president ever give the order? This is serious stuff. The legacy media reporting the bombing in Iran was low effect. The sites were obliterated. They were gone. You got to ask yourself the question, why are you doing this?
News with a little bit of common sense. Mornings on the Dove, weekdays 6 to 8 a.m.
God's eternal power and divine nature are seen in creation. But in a world blinded by darkness, the life outdoors is here to pull back the veil. The mountains don't lie. Truth leads to Jesus. Wake the wild within.
All right, good morning to you. 12 minutes before the hour, and breaking story as we sit here this morning is Dr. James Dobson passed away just a little while ago this morning. As you know, he was a strong advocate for the family for years. He served under 5 presidents. He actually served on a special commission by Ronald Reagan and George H.W. Bush to investigate the impact of pornography on the family. But he's quite a guy, and met him on many occasions, especially at the NRB. We were one of the beginning stations in the country to carry Focus on the Family.
Oh, wow.
So it goes back 43 years that we have been carrying Focus on the Family. Of course, he left Focus on the Family and then started Parent Talk, and we carry both programs. But he passed away early this morning at the age of 89, and more will be coming out on that a little bit later throughout the day.
It says here in this article that he was an advisor to 5 U.S. presidents.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he was quite the guy.
Yeah.
I remember watching him and his son Ryan play a ping pong match at the NRB, and then whoever lost, you would play the other one. So I ended up playing Ryan for a little bit.
Really?
Yeah.
Now,
but consolation prize was you got the paddle signed by Dobson and Ryan.
Well, wasn't Dobson himself, wasn't he like a collegiate tennis star?
Yes.
Yeah. Did he go to UCLA?
I think he did. Yeah. But he was really an amazing person, and the crowds that he would get for helping families and lecturing on the family life and all that. Anyway, he'll be greatly missed, and we'll be hearing more about that. Also breaking this morning is it looks like the California Supreme Court is going to give Governor Newsom the green light to go ahead and gerrymander California. Now, this is before its normal date. Now, normally these things would take 30 days to process, but leave it to the Democrats to find a way to not do it illegally.
Yeah.
So they took advantage of a law that they had gut and reamend, which allows them to gut everything and start over. So in the meantime, what will happen here is that the governor is trying to offset what happened in Texas and create 5 more seats in California. We'll see how this goes. But guess what? It has to go to the people for a vote in November.
Oh, okay.
Will Californians reject this?
Yeah, I wonder.
Have they had enough of this nonsense?
I have a question, though.
Yeah.
Okay. In Texas, Democrats are going to fight the Republicans by taking that gerrymandering movement to court. Well, now the California Supreme Court has weighed in on gerrymandering in California, said it's okay. Does that set a precedent in the Texas case?
Well, I think what it just shows you that the whole thing
hypocrisy.
It's just crazy.
Right.
I mean, gerrymandering's been around forever, and I say forever. There is a history to it.
Yeah.
But so I don't know if one offsets the other. But in Texas, they're going to win because it's 88 to 52 or something like that.
Yeah.
In California, if he's going to redistrict the state and pick up 5 additional seats, he's going to have to show that it can be done legally by the amount of population, number one. And number two, has Californians reached enough?
Can California be bluer?
I don't think so. So you kind of wonder, how you guys like paying $6 and $7 a gallon?
Well,
down there? Haven't you had enough of this nonsense?
Apparently not.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Because if he puts the gerrymandering map together, then he has to send it to the people. It has to be ratified by the voters. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Well, unfortunately, what happens is emotions get in the way of common sense. And on the left, that has happened a lot. I have friends who are just dyed-in-the-wool Trump haters, and you ask them about specific issues, and they agree with you on the issues, and it's followed with, but I hate Trump. And that seems to be enough.
That's all they got.
Yeah.
All right. In the meantime, Mike Hewitt, he's a former U.S. Navy admiral, and he argues that President Trump's statecraft is forcing Putin to the table in Europe, and in asking Congress to rally behind him in this peace agreement. Here's what he had to say. He was on Fox Business earlier today.
There has been so much that's occurred, and I hearken back to the word that I haven't heard a lot of, which is statecraft. What we're really watching, in my opinion, is Reagan-esque like statecraft. So this meeting in Anchorage was only successful because of the previous 7 months of economic and foreign policy successes of the United States that got us to that point. And so now we're in an actual conversation about peace, not about a ceasefire, which really in some cases may have just given Putin a chance to rearm, but an actual negotiation about a peace agreement that will also include economic growth. And I always just remember that President Trump's doctrine is always in play here. He has so much more to worry about than just Ukraine, but the time and effort he's put into this negotiation to get the allies on board, to get the economic plan in place, and to get to a peace negotiation, to me, it just harkens back to the first time of 21st century statecraft that we've seen.
Okay, well, here we go.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
All right, what else you got there?
Make America what?
Well, I just told, I think we ought to come up with a purple hat and put on there, make prunes great again.
Who could argue with it?
Just a purple hat, that's red and blue, right? And it comes out purple?
Why not?
And then put on there, make prunes great again.
I love it.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, well, we've seen some pretty cute videos online, and especially when people posted about their pets, and this morning, we have another.
Some dogs love squeaky toys, others love tennis balls. But one pup has discovered his true passion, a dinosaur mask. In a viral video, a man gives his dog a playful dinosaur headpiece, and instead of shaking it off like most pets would, this pup proudly struts around in it like he's the star of his own Jurassic Park sequel, and now, thanks to this video, he is. And the best part, He absolutely refuses to take it off.
Put a mask on your dog. Let's see how that works.
Good stuff. All right, let's see. Let's go to the New Testament today.
Okay.
The book of Titus. We don't go there very often. Chapter 2, verse 14. Jesus gave himself for us to redeem us from all wickedness and to purify for himself a people that are his very own, eager to do what is good. Let me ask you something today. Did you wake up eager to do something good today? Try it. It'll drive your enemy crazy. We'll be right back.
Until seas like burning in your heart. And if the road gets rough, just keep your head up. Let the world see what you're made of. That his love's alive.
Applegate River Golf and RV Resort, a pristine 9-hole course alongside the Applegate River. Their clubhouse offers a golf simulator experience. The RV Resort is adjacent to the golf course with convenient pull-through parking. Applegate River Golf and RV Resort. Information at applegateRV.com.
Come fall in love with Northridge Senior Living, where contemporary sunlit interiors meet old world elegance. Walk through our lovely hallways and enjoy the fun staff-led activities. Forge lasting friendships with other residents and our exceptional caregivers. Dine in style. Gather near the fireplace under breathtaking chandeliers. Our reasonably priced apartments are spacious with private balconies. Northridge is Christian-owned and operated, pet-friendly, and only 2 blocks from Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center. On-site 24/7 in-home care is available. We also offer senior adult daycare where your loved one can spend the day with us and the evenings with you. Northridge Senior Living, your home.
Buying or selling a home can be stressful. It's one of the biggest decisions you'll make in your lifetime. That's why it's important to work with someone you trust, someone who has the right experience and knowledge of the market.
Hi, we're Patrick and Paulina Leiser with Leiser Real Estate Group.
And whether you're looking to buy or sell a home, our mission is to take the stress out of the transaction and make it as seamless and rewarding as possible.
Contact us today. We look forward to working with you.
Stewardship begins with the knowledge that nothing belongs to us, but everything belongs to the Lord. This helps us to run a business not in the fear of lack, but in the assurance of His care and provision. Such a perspective eliminates the drive to sell and replaces it with a heart that says serve. This begins with serving our clients and coworkers with integrity and genuine care. That's why at Kelly's, it's automotive service with a heart for God, and treating others as we ourselves would want to be treated. Our promise is to never sell our clients anything we don't believe they need. Another is to do all we can to meet other needs, such as shuttle service and loaner cars, or taking the time to really listen, even at times praying with our customers. Sometimes this means sacrifice, going above and beyond, but that's why I work for Kelly's Automotive Service, honoring God while serving people with honesty and integrity.
Would you like to know your faith better? Then join me for the John Ankerberg Show weekdays at 4 o'clock right here on the Dove TV. It'll be encouraging and informative.
Good morning, good morning. Welcome to Mornings on the Dove on this Thursday morning. We like to sneak ahead and call it Friday Eve. This is the beginning of a warming trend throughout the Pacific Northwest. And here's a person that's always hot.
No.
I'm here to cool him down.
Yeah.
Anyway, just at the top of the show today, it's sad for us to report that we just got word a few moments ago that Dr. James Dobson has passed away at the age of 89. And quite the guy. I've had the opportunity to be with him on several occasions and interview him on several occasions in the years gone by. The Dove Radio was one of the first programs to carry Focus on the Family back in 1983, if you can imagine that. He went on to serve 5 presidents. He served on 2 presidential commissions, one by President Ronald Reagan and one by H.W. Bush. And he, as you know, was the founder of Focus on the Family that started in Southern California, ended up in Colorado Springs. And then he went over and started another program called Parent Talk and served there. He has the Dobson Family Institute. I think Liberty University actually has a Department of Family Studies under the Dobson Family Institute, kind of a department within the university. Wrote over 70 books and quite a guy. Very strong leader, leader. And so anyway, we're just processing that now, but apparently a few hours ago he passed away at the age of 89. We'll keep you updated on that. Anyway, a lot of things going on in the news today. That's happening. This is the beginning of a hot trend over the next several days throughout the Pacific Northwest. Get ready for that. Anything special?
Well, yeah, a few things. First of all, I got a text from Pam.
Yeah.
She agrees with you.
What?
She says, yes, Perry, I agree. He's hot. Thank you, honey. Love you. Moving on.
Pam. You crossed the line. I want you to know.
Moving on. It is. With that in mind.
Is that the reason you come in hot? Oh, my stars.
Moving on, it's National Senior Citizens Day. And as I mentioned earlier, isn't it interesting how senior citizens have gotten younger through the years?
Yes.
When we were a kid, senior citizens were old. No, they're not.
Well, they dress frumpy and, you know, but now they're in Levi's. And yes. And
tennis shoes. And yes, Levi's with holes in them and T-shirt. Oh, you got the whole thing. But don't forget, especially, you know, younger folks, and you look at, you know, grandmas and grandpas, and you think they might be old and stuff. I love the pictures online where you have all these young gals in these mini skirts in front of GTOs and Mustangs and Camaros and stuff. It says, these are your grandmas, hotter than you could ever imagine. Like, yes.
Your grandmother came from Woodstock.
Yeah, digest that one. Okay. It is also National Spumoni Day, a delicious frozen treat which hails from southern Italy. It's a creamy creation and often includes candied fruits and nuts into 2 layers with a 3rd layer of chocolate. And apparently the first and original recipe came from Nola, Italy. It came to these shores anyway in 1905. And they're a little bit different because their traditional recipe called for 3 layers of semifreddo. I don't know what that is. An almond layer, semi-sweet chocolate, and stracciatella, which is a type of gelato with irregular bits of chocolate in it. And in the United States, though, it's been changed. Most spumoni includes cherry layer with cherry bits, a layer of pistachio ice cream, and a layer of chocolate. And so, you know, I think, you know, it's okay for some folks.
Yeah,
It's a lot of stuff in ice cream.
It is. It's an ice cream form, but yeah, I've had it. It's okay.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever had spumoni with prunes in it, though.
No.
And we've gotten a lot of mileage out of our prunes this morning because, you know, we all know that when you take a picture and you get all lined up and you're in the viewfinder, the photographer always, well, oftentimes says, say,
smile,
cheese, say cheese. Well, in the olden days, in the Victorian age, they didn't do that. They said, prunes.
Boy, it looks like it, too.
It does. Look at these pictures.
Yeah.
And that is because smiling in photographs during the Victorian age was seen as a vulgar act. To keep a neutral face, they would say prunes, and there was little or no chance of it being able to form a smile. So there you go. The Victorian age, it's pros and its cons, and smiling wasn't one of the benefits.
Well, Peggy's uncle, he's a fun guy. He's in heaven now, but what a hoot of a guy. And he had early days, he was in and around the Marysville, Yuba City area in the Central Valley. And you guys stuck on that? Okay. I'm talking about a couple of prunes. Here we are. Anyway, he'd go down there, and that's where they would, you know, do the prunes.
Okay.
Do the prunes down there. A lot of them growing down there.
Yeah.
And he would buy these little packets. They were just little things like that, and they would have slices of prunes in there. And sun-kissed prunes. And he would buy boxes of them, okay? And he'd come back to Medford, and he'd go around town, and he'd walk into somebody's office and take a little bag of prunes, and he'd throw it on the desk, and he said, "Here, start a movement." That's what he did. So this is really out of control here, but I think what we ought to do is have purple hats. Put on there MPGA, make prunes great again, and then in parentheses start a movement.
Why not?
On purple hats. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to take it and wear it over the weekend. I'm going to enemy territory.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'm going.
If you're going into a blue area, at least wear a purple hat.
Yes, and I am. So that would be a great suggestion.
Yeah, okay.
I wish I could do it.
All right, well, here he is, Mr. Spumoni himself.
Look at our weather from Grange Co-op. Building high pressure will produce a multi-day stretch of high temperatures. So today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, sunny with a high in the upper 80s in Vancouver and low 90s for Portland, Wilsonville, and McMinnville. Continuing sunny as we move down the Willamette Valley with daytime high temperatures in the low 90s for Salem, Albany, Corvallis, and Eugene, with a light north wind in the afternoon gusting up to 20 miles per hour. Sunny skies across the central Oregon high desert with daytime highs climbing into the low 90s for Prineville and mid to upper 80s for Bend and Sun River. Over in Boise, Idaho, sunny with highs in the low 90s. A beautiful day along the coast with sunny skies and daytime high temperatures in the mid-70s for Coos Bay, low 70s in Port Orford, near 62 in Brookings, and mid to upper 60s for Crescent City, California. In southern Oregon, sunny and hot for the Rogue Valley with highs in the upper 90s for Grants Pass, near 100 in Medford and 96 in Ashland, sunny in the Klamath Basin with highs in the low to mid-90s. Into northern California, sunny with a high in the mid to upper 90s for Wairika, sunny and hot for Redding with a high near 106, Chico near 103, and Sacramento with a high near 102 and a light northwest wind. In the Bay Area, sunny in mid-90s for Santa Rosa, mostly sunny in low 90s in Napa, mostly sunny in San Francisco with a high in the mid-70s and a southwest wind gusting up to 18 miles per hour, and today in San Jose, sunny in mid-90s. A snapshot of our Thursday weather from Grange Co-op.
All right, a beautiful shot of southern Oregon today from the top of Roxy, and that's looking a little bit to the northwest this morning. I'm going to say that's probably in the range of 280 to 300 degrees, somewhere out there maybe. And in fact, if you look way out there and you can't see it, but that's us.
Yeah.
That's the airport out there.
Yeah, and it does look dry, and it's going to get hot and drier.
Heat haze over the top of us.
Be careful out there.
Be careful out there.
Time for some morning encouragement with Ann Graham Lotz.
There are all sorts of battles taking place in the invisible world. And when we pray, and when we pray for the peace of Jerusalem, or we pray for our nation, heaven responds and heaven rallies and heaven replies. In verse 14, he got his reply. Now I've come to explain to you what will happen to your people in the future, for the vision concerns a time yet to come. Oh, Daniel, God has heard your prayer, and he has moved heaven and earth to send me to bring you the answer. Sometimes I think our prayers are delayed because of something going on in the invisible realm. And we think it's just that God hasn't heard us. In fact, if I were the enemy, I'd convince you that heaven is silent because God doesn't really love you. You haven't prayed the right way. You haven't fasted long enough. You're really helpless. You're insignificant. And heaven is busy with more important things. And, if I were the enemy. So heaven responds and heaven rallies. God moves heaven and earth when his people pray. And when you're reversing the thunder, things are happening, but you just can't see it. Invisible adversary, invisible armor, invisible ally. The battle is personal, emotional, invisible, and listen to me, it's winnable. The battle doesn't get easier as it progresses. It requires stamina, courage, perseverance. 1 John 4:4 reminds us, greater is he that's in you than he that's in the world. And in the end, Daniel was empowered. He was given strength.
Yeah. If you don't think there's an enemy,
oh gosh,
try doing something for God.
Yeah. Yes, no doubt.
And think about this when you're in the middle of your battle. The devil never attacks a retreating army.
Yeah.
So if you're going forward with God, it's part of the deal. I don't know why it's that way.
Right. Right.
But it does work out what the Bible calls the peaceable fruits of righteousness. It does work itself out. But it's testing your stamina.
Yeah.
It's testing your faith.
Yeah.
I remember learning how to fly on instruments. And I remember one time I was shooting an approach. I forget what town it was in. I can't even remember now. But I was shooting approach, and I'm in the clouds. I'm on instruments. I don't have what they call now glass instruments. I had a 6-pack, which is the basic instruments of an airplane.
Well, I'm glad you cleared that up.
It's not the one you drink, no. And it wasn't a keg. It's 6 instruments there. And I'm flying on this thing, and all of a sudden it turns to snow.
Oh.
And have you ever driven in a snowstorm?
Oh, many times.
And you can't see anything?
Oh, many times.
Try flying in one.
Oh, no, thank you.
And you have to believe your instruments.
Yeah.
Or you're dead.
Sure.
It's as simple as that. Okay, you can't go by your feelings.
Yeah.
That's called vertigo. You have to believe your instruments, or you're dead.
Wow, that's a good illustration.
Yeah, and I didn't like it. I didn't like it, but I did it, but I didn't like it. Yeah. All right, so much for all that stuff. Let's take a look at some of the top stories this morning. Got quite a few to go through. Let me just remind you, we're tracking, it's been told to us just a little while ago, that Dr. James Dobson has passed away early this morning at the age of 89. As you know, he was an amazing advocate for the family. He served 5 presidents. He started Focus on the Family. He ended up on a program called Parent Talk. I've had the honor of interviewing him on many occasions. I met him on quite a few occasions. By the way, he almost drowned in the Rogue River.
Oh, I didn't know this.
Yeah, in fact,
really?
The last 2 times I did meet with him, he said, "Oh, you're from that area of the country," and he remembers it very well. But he was going through the Rogue River down where they call the Coffee Pot.
Okay.
You know where that is on the Rogue River?
I've heard of it.
As you go down through what they call the Wild and Scenic area.
Wild and Scenic, right.
And there's a place there that's really rough, and if you don't know what you're doing and you get flipped over, it does this. It goes up and down.
Okay. Oh.
And sure enough, he went through there and he capsized, and he didn't pop up until down through, and he thought he was a goner there.
Oh.
You know, and but anyway, so the last 2 times I talked to him, "Oh yeah, you're from over there. I know that Rogue River thing."
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, but anyway, our thoughts and family, prayers and thoughts to the family there today. All right, well, here's an interesting story. I've been watching this, but never thought it would hit the headlines because you never know if things are true these days.
Yeah.
But apparently, the Democrats are losing registrations races across 30 states. Apparently, 4.5 million voters now have left the Democrats. Some have gone to the Republicans. 2.1 million registered voters in 30 states over the last couple of years have left, and it seems like the hemorrhaging is not stopping. People are leaving the Democrats. They had enough of your nonsense.
Yeah.
Now, some of them are going to the Republican Party. Some of them are not going anywhere. They are just going to become independents, which now becomes one of the largest voting blocs in America.
Yeah.
So this is pretty interesting. I have another story that proves that a little bit later on. Hillary Clinton's back in the news as more and more evidence is coming out from her involvement with Russiagate and some of the reports coming out from the Intelligence Department. CIA Director John Ratcliffe explains that the contents of the Durham Annex report, which is due out, shows that she just flat lied, and she is up for ethics violations in the state of Arkansas and could lose her law license. She's not practicing law. And I don't know what this means, but President Clinton lost his over the Monica Lewinsky things. She now could get these ethics violations filed against her in the state of Arkansas, and she could lose her law license.
Does she practice law anymore?
Lawlessness.
Yeah.
Is there a degree in that? Can you get licensed for that?
I think she is.
We need to give her an MPGA hat.
Oh, yes.
Sorry about that.
Well, she kept her server in the bathroom.
There you go. Well, it's all this is coming to fruition, so we'll see what happens. All right, National Director of Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, an amazing lady who is cleaning up a lot of stuff that's really bad. And as you know, just the other day, she released 37 people within the intelligence agency, and 37 people that she felt that were just moles left over from previous administration, and that they weren't doing their job. They were there with a bias agenda, and so she dismissed all of them and removed all of their security clearance. And she said this is the beginning. She was on Jesse Waters' program and talked about where she's going with this, and here's what she had to say.
This organization, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, was created 20 years ago in the wake of the egregious and strategic intelligence failures around the Islamist terrorist attack on 9/11 in our country. And this office was created by Congress to get after those problems, to make sure that there is one independent body providing that oversight over the intelligence community, integrating intelligence, making sure that the left hand is sharing information with the right hand, and fundamentally and most importantly, ensuring that the intelligence that is being provided to the President of the United States is timely, it is relevant, and it is apolitical, objective. That he is actually getting the information he needs to make the critical decisions that he makes every single day. Fast forward to where we are today. ODNI has more than doubled in size. It is bloated with bureaucracy. It is rife with politicization, weaponization, the very thing that it was created to try to prevent and get after. And unfortunately, it has failed to meet its mandate. And so this launch today of ODNI 2.0, as you said, we will save taxpayers more than $700 million every year, cutting the organization by over 40% and making sure that those who are working at the Office of the Director of National Intelligence are aggressively getting after our core mission, which is really ensuring the safety, security, and freedom of the American people.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big 40%. And I got to remember, she was a liberal Democrat from Hawaii.
Yeah, she's well-spoken. And what is it with government entities that creates this growth and the bloating of these agencies? Why does that happen?
Well, Doge proved that it was way out of control.
Yeah.
And I would say what she mentioned there is really interesting. And maybe it's a question we ought to ask every agency at every government level. What is your mission?
Yeah. Oh, good point. Yeah.
Are you on mission or off mission?
Yeah.
And she basically is saying there that the ODNI is off mission. It became politicized.
Yeah.
And so she's trying to clean it up.
All right. Good for her.
Well, and I thought this story would be happening today, but it happened late yesterday afternoon as the Texas Assembly Democrats in the House there were going in to vote about the redistricting, and they did pass it 88-52. To continue on with their plan to create new congressional maps representing the state of Texas and creating 5 new potential congressional seats. And so they passed it. As you know, the Democrats left town and really came back with their hat in the hand.
Yeah.
Now, what's interesting about this, they lost. This is a clean deal where they just flat lost. Okay, so they're going to, file all this stuff with legal things and see is the will of the people being thwarted and all this stuff. Well, this will set up a big argument between now and the midterm elections in 26. The flip side of that, just moments ago in California, the California Supreme Court has given Governor Newsom the okay to go ahead and gerrymander the state of California.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he wants to, Governor Newsom wants to take areas of California and create 5 additional Democratic seats to offset the 5 additional Texas Republican seats.
Wait a minute. Can California get bluer?
Well, see, I don't know how you divide this up. Now, a lot of this has to do with population and doesn't meet the population mandate of so many people. You got to remember in Oregon, we're losing a seat.
Oh, yeah.
And we're losing a seat in a blue state.
Right. Isn't California also losing seats?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't know how this is going to work. But you got one saying you can't do it and the other saying we're going to do it. So does that offset the courts?
Well, yeah.
Does one cross the other one out in the court?
That's a great question. We're going to see this go to court in Texas, but it's been to the Supreme Court in California. They said okay. So is that the precedent?
We'll see. It's kind of crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the other thing is, now let's just fast forward. So let's say that Governor Newsom, he's got the green light from the Supreme Court to go ahead and lay out the plan. That's basically what it is.
Okay.
So when the plan is laid out, then it has to be ratified by the voters of California.
Okay.
What if California is waking up and tells Newsom, have a nice day, we ain't doing this?
Yeah.
And the only thing I can say to you Californians down there, and I'm a former one, wake up.
Yeah.
Stop this nonsense, okay? Especially you folks in Northern California. You're the only red part of the state left,
right.
you know?
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. But that's what's happening. So I think one crosses the other out, but what do I know? Hey, you know, I want to make purple hats. I think it's a movement of itself. Start a movement. MPGA, make prunes great again. Don't you think? I think it's got legs.
I think it's really got legs. We can put it on the catalog section of our website.
Yeah, put it in the little parentheses and make start a movement. MPGA, make prunes great again.
Only here on the mornings on the Dove. I'm telling you.
All right, let's see how this is reflecting on Wall Street this morning as we check in and for the numbers on Wall Street this morning. And but I don't have that. I'll check. I'm a little ahead of myself, aren't I?
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
We'll get that one.
You guys
come
okay
back.
there? You just fall over? You just die? Okay, we'll be right back.
Range Co-op, where big ideas grow.
Applegate River Golf and RV Resort, a pristine 9-hole course alongside the Applegate River. Their clubhouse offers a golf simulator experience. The RV Resort is adjacent to the golf course with convenient pull-through parking. Applegate River Golf and RV Resort. Information at applegateRV.com. We've all enjoyed a real hot summer, and now fire danger is biting at its heels. Flammable blackberries and underbrush will grow like gangbusters and sprout fire danger in no time. A wise property owner knows the best time to take care of fire danger is to extinguish it before it gets started. GMV Forestry LLC can help you protect your property with adequate fire brush clearing to fireproof a zone around your precious property. With over 35 years experience, GMV Forestry LLC has the knowledge, experience, and all the equipment you need to get the job done right, offering a wide variety of services like mulching, field mowing, snow removal, driveway clearing, ditch cleaning, gravel delivery and spreading, driveway sweeping, logging, and more. GMV Forestry LLC does it all, and they do it right. GMV Forestry LLC, the team you can trust. 541-660-6445. 541-660-6445.
At Sweet Tea Express, we've got you covered. Order at the counter and our friendly service staff will do the rest. Burgers, salads, sandwiches, barbecue platters, sides, and more. Smoked, grilled, and served to perfection. Sweet Tea Express. Breakfast, burgers, and barbecue.
Welcome back, 24 minutes past the hour. Just a couple of other stories to follow up on this morning. Don't forget that 1 week from tomorrow, Oregon will be going into a special session to deal with the $350 million shortfall for the budget of ODOT, Oregon's Department of Transportation. Now, they couldn't get this through on the regular session because it was so controversial. So the governor wants to come back and have a special session in the middle of summer when people aren't paying much attention and put on there a 6 cents per gallon gas tax, $42 increase in registration fees, and title fees up $139, and even payroll taxes will double. Now, this is absolutely ridiculous. Christine Drazen, the minority leader in the House, is putting out a proposal. Don't vote for this. Let's go into the rainy day fund the problem right now, and then put this agency under the microscope and have it audited. Duh.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you've written your letters, or hopefully you will, but I am surprised how this is.
I have a question.
I had better conversations with the fence posts.
Well, speaking of conversations, if you were still the party chair in this state, how would you advise Republicans going into this? Would you try to block a quorum? Would you encourage them to go?
Well, I think they ought to go.
Okay.
And look, you have to respect the process. It's like going into the state of Texas. What good is it? Was it to walk out?
Right.
That doesn't make any sense.
Well, and
you have to go, but go with your guns loaded, so to speak.
Yeah. Well, Republicans in Oregon tried to do this before,
And they lost their seats.
Yes, they did.
Okay, I would say this. I would be out at all 36 counties. I'd be doing a petition drive through every central committee. I'd be getting every business in town to sign this thing and bombard the session with letters of disapproval of what their proposal is.
Yeah.
And I would, by the way, you can't disapprove something without having an alternative. And the alternative is what Christine Drazan is putting on the table.
You know, that's a good point.
Yeah. So a lot of people, I'll use some nice words here.
Okay.
But a lot of people will complain and walk out.
Right.
Have a nice day. It doesn't do anything.
Isn't that the state of the Democrat Party nationally right now?
Yeah.
They've got nothing to offer. All they have is okay.
So what was your alternative?
Yeah. What do you have for us?
A lawsuit. Okay. All right. So here's a good story. This is a great story. If you remember, under the Biden administration, they went after a Christian university, one of the largest in the country.
Oh, yeah.
And they went after this university, and the Grand Canyon University, which is a large Christian university, 118,000 students, most of them are online, and they went after them for some kind of supposed fraud in their finances. Well, guess what? It was nothing more than an intimidation move, and the Federal Trade Commission, under the order of the previous administration, now has withdrawn their lawsuit and dropped it.
Wow. Wow.
Thank you, Pam Bundy.
Yes, indeed. Right.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Okay, where am I going? Gotta make sure. Okay, this is a sad story,
Oh,
but a
yeah.
great story.
Yeah.
Frank Caprio, he was the judge on Caught in Providence. This was a great program. And he passed away the other day at the age of 88 from pancreatic cancer. I don't know if you ever watched the show, but it was the greatest show of redemption. Now, it was like a traffic court.
Yeah, exactly.
And people would come to his court with all kinds of stories, and he'd listen to the story, and he'd ask questions. But at the end of the day, he gave everybody a redemptive decision.
Yeah.
So here he is. He'd just been fighting pancreatic cancer, but he kind of gives his background and reasoning why he did what he did on his show. He was a special guest on Megyn Kelly's show, and here's what he had to say.
First, you have great parents who treat you, like human beings instead of an apostle. And you follow their footsteps. Whatever lessons they taught you as a child, you then incorporate into your life in treating other people that way. Some people think, for example, if you come from a position of power, like a judge, that you have to use that power, in adverse ways. I never thought that. I thought it was a tool for good. I thought it was a tool for understanding people, for helping them if I could, to let them know that I understood their problems. The thing that impresses me the most is the lack of understanding and civility among people. I was brought up in a working class family. My dad was a milkman. I delivered newspapers. I helped him on the truck. And it always was the lessons from my dad were, treat people honorably and with respect and compassion and understanding.
Well, there you go. Great program, Caught in Providence. You can go probably on YouTube and watch it. Great program. I tried like crazy to get it, but it was licensed and we couldn't break into that mold. But it was a perfect program for theDove because every decision he made was redemptive. Really something. All right, let's take a look at Wall Street. Let's see what's happening on the big board this morning. Thank you, Preston over at Smart Lawn. He's smart. You would be too if you called him. Anyway, the Dow's not happy today, down 255 points. The Nasdaq's off 132 and the S&P down 33. Who knows what's driving that? Could be the decision in Texas. Who knows?
Yeah.
33.81 for gold, silver, now at an even 38, so it's bumped up a little bit. And crude oil 65.88. If I remember right, that's still up about 20 cents.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I will agree with you. It is up. We just don't see it go down. We see these price fluctuations in Oregon. On the West Coast in general, I mean, we're really quite high. Okay, well, looking at economic matters, former Reagan economist Art Laffer joins Fox Business's Larry Kudlow and explains why Europe will invest in the U.S. and also why he thinks Russia will make a great business hub.
Two things. One is the defense one. You're completely right. They need to do the 5%, and they've been way below that. At least some of them have been way below that. But also, they'll be wanting to invest in the U.S. not because they're required to by trade deals. They'll want to invest in the U.S. because of the rate of return on capital we're going to increase dramatically. The U.S. ran huge trade deficits as all these foreigners invested in the United States to take advantage of the post-Reagan tax cuts. It was just brilliant, and it's going to happen again with the U.S. creating this huge capital magnet around the world. And I'm just very excited, Larry. I haven't seen anything like this since Reagan, and it just is just wonderful news. It's a great business hub. It's been so held down for so long with so many sanctions and with so much control over it that once they let Russia loose, you're going to see this place boom like mad. The same thing's true with China, Larry. And these countries have really great potential if they're brought into the economic sphere, and they will be.
Isn't that interesting?
Well, we'll see. We're right on the verge of all of that, and so we'll see what happens. But I wonder if Prune Futures went up today for us talking about it.
They must have.
We'll be right back.
The Dove Radio is your 24-hour source for encouragement and information. There's something for everyone. Teaching, news, and music. 3 unique stations in one. Solid Bible teaching from trusted teachers of the faith you can lean on. Charles Swindoll, Greg Laurie, Charles Stanley, Dr. David Jeremiah, and Rick Boya. Relevant news, information, and talk you can trust through these challenging times with Mornings on the Dove, Focus Today, Janet Parshall, and Focus on the Family. Plus, contemporary and classic music with a message of hope, afternoons and late nights on the Dove. Listen to the Dove Radio Network throughout Southern and Central Oregon on the Dove app and online at thedove.us, on your smart speaker, in your hand, in your car. Encouraging and informative wherever you go. The Dove Radio, something for everyone.
The threat of wildfire poses a growing risk to Oregonians. You can prepare now by taking 3 important steps. Create a home inventory, make copies of important financial records, and contact your insurance company to make sure you have the right amounts and types of home insurance coverage. Be wildfire ready by being insurance ready. Visit dfr.oregon.gov/prepare now to learn how.
Life is complicated enough. Why worry about what to do with your extra car? Skip the costs of maintaining it, storing it, insuring it, or renewing registration. Car repairs? Forget about it. Here's one easy solution to your car problem. Donate it to our station. It's fast, free, tax deductible, and if you donate, you're going to feel incredible knowing you're supporting quality programming. Interested? Just call this toll-free number or donate online. Thank you.
Good morning, 26 minutes before the hour on a nice Thursday as we head into triple digits. Jerry's weather gauge here is lying to him. It's somewhere.
No, it's going to get hot, baby.
So is it going to be at least triple digits?
Yeah, well, especially south of us, it's borderline here, but we're talking about like 105 tomorrow and into the... Really? It depends on who you believe. My Apple weather app says one thing, says 101. National Weather Service, who I really lean on a lot, 105. So it depends on. It's all hot. It's all hot.
All right, let's check in with CBN Newswatch and get caught up.
This is CBN Newswatch.
Thank you so much for joining us for CBN Newswatch on this Thursday, August 21st. I'm Ephraim Graham. We're going to begin this half hour in the Middle East. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is accelerating his operation against Hamas in Gaza City. He's ordered the IDF to shorten the timelines to conquer the last terrorist stronghold in Gaza. Despite the war, hundreds of Jews from the United States are moving to Israel to start new lives. Paul Petit has more right now on our top story, reporting from Tel Aviv.
As Israel's offensive in the Gaza Strip ramps up, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is still considering the ceasefire deal Hamas has agreed to. Since the last ceasefire ended in March, the Israel Defense Forces say they've eliminated over 2,100 Hamas operatives, including senior commanders, and now control 75% of the Strip. During a visit to the IDF's Gaza division, Netanyahu praised the troops.
I was impressed by the fighting spirit and determination to complete the defeat of Hamas and the release of all of our hostages.
In Jerusalem, IDF leaders presented plans to capture Gaza City, and Netanyahu ordered the timeline moved up to take the city even faster. In Judea and Samaria, also known as the West Bank, Israel's finance minister announced a project to build 3,400 housing units in a disputed area. Smotrich called a two-state solution with the Palestinians a two-state delusion.
The time has come to fully apply Israeli sovereignty over Judea and Samaria, the West Bank, to forever remove from the table the idea of dividing the land and to make sure that by September, Europe's hypocrite leaders will simply have nothing to recognize.
Wednesday also marked the first Aliyah flight since October 7th, bringing 225 Jewish Americans and Canadians to make Israel their home.
You know, we're fulfilling the dream of dreams. We're trying to come and rebuild the land and be a part of the Jewish people who have been going through a lot the last couple of years.
Aliyah in Hebrew means to go up or to ascend. So at Bible times, they went up to Jerusalem to celebrate the feasts. And for these people arriving today, it's just as important. They're here to fulfill a lifelong dream, begin again, even to help out in a time of war.
This is great. Exciting. I'm excited. Yeah, it's amazing. Overwhelming, but it's really, really cool to see everyone out here like this. Yeah.
These two are moving from St. Louis and Los Angeles and will be enlisted in a program that helps IDF soldiers.
It feels right. You know, home is home, and I think it feels the most right for me personally to come give back and be here. That's where I feel closest to my family and to myself.
I'm the same way. I just feel like it's the right thing for me right now, and I feel very connected to Israel, and it's the place I want to be.
In Tel Aviv, Paul Petit, CBN News.
And our CBN News Middle East Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell is joining us now from near the Gaza border. Chris, today marked the first time an Aliyah flight made landfall in Israel since the war began. Can you tell us more about this and the bringing of Jews and Americans, as well as Canadians, to make Israel their home?
Well, Ephraim, anytime you go down to Ben Gurion Airport and see something like Paul reported on yesterday, it's really prophecy being fulfilled. This is what the prophets said would happen. Ezekiel, Isaiah, Jeremiah foretold that the return of the Jews to the land. It's happening after 2,000 years of being dispersed to the nations of the world. This particular Aliyah is significant because I think there was 1,000 people in the month of August, marking maybe the biggest month in many years. So this is very significant. It's also significant for two reasons. First of all, they're coming during a war. And despite the war, they feel like this is the place they need to be. The other thing is that there's such a rise of global anti-Semitism. And that's certainly one factor of why Jewish people, not only from North America, but places like France and Europe, the UK, feel like it's time to get out of their particular countries and come here and live in Israel.
Can you tell us more about the first stage of the Gaza operation? As we said at the start, you are near the Gaza border right now.
Yeah, we're not too far from the Gaza border. It's not too far behind us, Ephraim. By the way, if you can hear something, there's a drone going right above us. Right now, it's called Operations Gideon's Chariots 2. This is the second phase of what began a few months ago, where the IDF is not only fighting Hamas in different ways, but what they're doing now is controlling territory and maintaining that control over the territory. They control now about 75% of the land of the Gaza Strip. And right now they've actually begun encroaching on Gaza City. They're also giving evacuation orders to the people of Gaza to get out of harm's way and to go south and get into safety.
Okay, by the way, we just found out a few moments ago that, let me just double check here, Chris Mitchell will be joining me.
All right.
In about about an hour. So we look forward to that. So we'll be Skyping him in live from Jerusalem coming up in just a little bit. All right, let's check out a guy that's always live and, from what I understand, hot.
Look at our weather from Grange Co-op. Building high pressure will produce a multi-day stretch of high temperatures. So today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, sunny with a high in the upper 80s in Vancouver and low 90s for Portland, Wilsonville, and McMinnville. Continuing sunny as we move down the Willamette Valley with daytime high temperatures in the low 90s for Salem, Albany, Corvallis, and Eugene, with a light north wind in the afternoon gusting up to 20 miles per hour. Sunny skies across the central Oregon high desert with daytime highs climbing into the low 90s for Prineville and mid to upper 80s for Bend and Sun River. Over in Boise, Idaho, sunny with highs in the low 90s. A beautiful day along the coast with sunny skies and daytime high temperatures in the mid-70s for Coos Bay, low 70s in Port Orford, near 62 in Brookings, and mid to upper 60s for Crescent City, California. In southern Oregon, sunny and hot for the Rogue Valley with highs in the upper 90s for Grants Pass, near 100 in Medford and 96 in Ashland, sunny in the Klamath Basin with highs in the low to mid-90s. Into northern California, sunny with a high in the mid to upper 90s for Wairika, sunny and hot for Redding with a high near 106, Chico near 103, and Sacramento with a high near 102 and a light northwest wind. In the Bay Area, sunny in mid-90s for Santa Rosa, mostly sunny in low 90s in Napa, mostly sunny in San Francisco with a high in the mid-70s and a southwest wind gusting up to 18 miles per hour, and today in San Jose, sunny in mid-90s. A snapshot of our Thursday weather from Grange Co-op.
All right, good morning to you. A shot from the east side of the valley. A little bit of a shadow left, not much, but it's the color of hot and dry right there.
Mm-hmm. The good old days on this National Senior Citizens Day. The good old, and prunes and everything else that's going on here today. But good old days, you know, when you went and saw an animated film, you knew it was going to be kid-friendly. Unfortunately, it's not the case anymore. But it has all the qualities that made Disney animated movies great, and it was released on this day in history.
On August 21st, 1942, Walt Disney released one of his most beloved animated classics, Bambi. Based on the novel by Felix Salten, the film told the story of a young deer growing up in the forest, learning about friendship, loss, and the circle of life. While Bambi is remembered for its emotional moments, it also broke ground in animation, with stunning detailed backgrounds and lifelike movement inspired by real animals studied by Disney's artists. At first, the movie wasn't a big box office hit. World War II limited its international release, but over time, Bambi became a cultural touchstone. Generations have grown up with its memorable characters, Thumper the rabbit, Flower the skunk, and of course, Bambi himself. Today, more than 80 years later, the film still stands as a reminder of the beauty of nature and the power of storytelling through animation.
Mm-hmm. Well, gosh, and that's when every movement had to be a drawing on a piece of paper.
Amazing the amount of art and labor involved in those.
Oh, wow.
Beautiful.
All right, Pastor Greg Laurie is the host of the third annual Jesus Revolution baptism there at Prairie Cove, where more than 2,000 people were baptized. Over the last couple of years, they're saying up to 10,000.
Oh, my goodness.
Here's a little bit of an update.
Okay, look behind you, this long line of folks that are waiting to be baptized. And I'm going to just kind of walk through the line and ask people their names and where they're from. Where are you from?
We're from Santa Clarita, California.
And you're getting baptized today?
My dad is getting baptized.
Your dad, what's your name?
Royce, 2 Royces.
All right, congratulations. This is called the seawall here. And this line is going to turn around and come into this line. And then these folks are going to go up this way, and they're going to go up the rocks and down the stairs, and then we'll baptize them. Where are you from?
Colorado. I'm here for my sister. She's getting baptized.
How old are you?
I'm 14.
Why are you being baptized today?
Because I want to proclaim to the world that Jesus is alive and that I love him and that I'm his child.
Well, that's about the best answer I've ever heard. Okay, so I'm here with Colby, right?
Yes, sir.
And Colby, you're getting baptized today?
I am.
And what brought this about? Why are you getting baptized?
I found God last August, and I wanted to wait until I submitted fully to get baptized, and that happened at the crusade. Hearing you speak, it was a beautiful night. I took my girlfriend. It was the most beautiful
Let's
thing
get
ever.
your girlfriend over
Sarah,
here.
come here. Got him.
What's your name?
Sarah.
Sarah. So what do you think about this?
I'm so excited for him. I'm really proud of him.
Have you been baptized already? All right. Well, that's a great story. Now, are you from California?
I'm from upstate New York. I moved to California in February.
Okay, great. All right. Well, don't lose your place in line there. Pleasure to meet you both. And congratulations, especially to you, Colby. Thank you. There's people coming from everywhere, from not just California, but all over the place. It's amazing. We've been doing these baptisms in California for 50 years, and we've been doing this one that we call the Jesus Revolution Baptism. This is our third one. The first one, we baptized 4,500 people, which was the largest baptism in American history. The second time we did it, we baptized 2,000. Today we're scheduled to baptize about 2,000 as well. So it's an amazing thing. You know, people ask, are we seeing a revival in America? Well, I can tell you this. I've been in ministry 50 years, and I've never seen anything quite like this. Just all of a sudden, this surge of people wanting to follow Christ and be baptized, and lots of young people too. So that's what's exciting to me. But you'll see people from all backgrounds, all ages, everybody. It's all about people wanting to know Jesus.
Well, it's an amazing thing, and I think there's a principle here to let us not forget. The harder it is, the more people turn to Christ. The harder it is going one way, the greater the movement comes the other way. Yeah. When they got into China, there was a revival. There was a revival going on in Iran, okay? It happens in other areas of life. When the Democrats walked out of Texas, it united the Republicans.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
And I say that not to be political. What I'm saying is that somehow the world is so crazy, and it's lied in so many ways, and our government has lied to us in so many ways.
Yeah.
This is the counter response to it.
Absolutely.
And there is a revival going on. I call it the silent revival.
Yeah.
There's a silent revival going on.
That is amazing. And I have a question for you. Okay, there's some folks who were spritzed as a baby. You know, baby baptisms, and then they may, maybe walked their own way, but came to the Lord as an adult, and they're dealing with the commitment of faith and wondering, well, I was spritzed as a baby. Should I be baptized as an adult? What say you?
Yes.
Okay.
And I tell you why. Look, this is controversial in some ranks.
I know.
Okay, but the point being is this. If you've come to the realization in your own heart and life that you needed to take the step of faith, okay, do it.
Yeah.
Do it. Because you are saying to yourself and you're saying to the public, I'm leaving this, I'm becoming that, I'm not killing the old man, I'm rising new in Christ, okay, I'm born again, and it's something that you say to yourself that you have made an amazing commitment to change your life and go in the right direction.
I love it. Very good. Time.
Why do people go to Jerusalem and get baptized in the Jordan when they've already been baptized?
Right. Yeah.
Okay, we'll be right back.
From top home sellers in the Valley with John L. Scott.
To making RV consignment effortless.
American RV, where Team Toner gets your RV sold fast.
The Lennox iComfort S30 thermostat can sense changes in your environment. It even knows when you come and go. So now your home's most important system is also the smartest.
Metal Masters can give you the smartest home comfort system available. It knows when you're away and adjusts when allergens and humidity get uncomfortable. Trust Metal Masters to provide perfect air for your family.
Lennox. Air is life. Make it perfect.
Welcome to Rise Direct Primary Care. Imagine a healthcare experience where you're known by name, cared for like family, and treated with compassion. How is that possible? With an affordable, flat monthly membership, you receive unlimited primary care and minor urgent care visits. No insurance needed. At Rise Direct Primary Care, we offer a friendly, affordable healthcare experience where you get a whole hour with your provider. Located in Central Medford and accessible by phone or text, we can typically get you in the same or next day. We prescribe urgent care medications directly from our office, saving you a trip and wait time at the pharmacy when you'd rather be at home getting better. Personalized medical care with a human touch. Rise Direct Primary Care is all about healing the sick with compassion and keeping the healthy healthy. Rise Direct Primary Care. We're here for you. Visit risehealthdpc.com or call or text us 541-827-8603. 541-827-8603.
30 seconds or less, the length of a typical soundbite. You can't really learn much. It takes time to ask questions and understand. Focus Today does just that. We give you an hour so you can understand better. Focus Today on the Dove TV.
Hi, good morning to you. 9 minutes before the hour. So what is President Trump trying to accomplish between President Putin and President Zelensky? Does it create winners and losers, or is there another point to this? Well, Mike Hewitt, who's a former Navy admiral, was on Maria's show and talks about that.
A ceasefire really, in some ways, was not going to advance the peace deal, and in some cases may have given Putin a chance to rearm. In this particular case, the pressure's on for a peace agreement, and I give President Trump credit for understanding, at least to some degree, President Putin's perspective on this. Not to capitulate one bit, but to understand that he has to also have an agreement that he can take back to his own country. This is not a winner and a loser. There has to be some type of compromise without capitulation. This is going to be difficult, but I think what the president has done is put all the cards on the table that he's willing to do what it takes to get that trilateral meeting done if needed. But more importantly, the Europeans have now coalesced around President Trump and his vision of peace. And I would also add that this is, by and large, a bipartisan conversation with the Congress. So to get to that point after 7 months is really quite remarkable.
Yeah, it is. It's interesting to watch. Well, we got quite a few more meetings to go through.
Yeah.
So, all right, coming up, Spencer Morrison will be back with us, author of Reshore, How Tariffs Will Bring Our Jobs Home and Revive the American Dream. That's his opinion. We'll talk about that. Also, we'll have our good friend Dr. Gene Getz with us, and we've just been notified that Chris Mitchell live from Jerusalem, we'll Skype him in here in a few moments. He just returned from Gaza.
Wow.
So we'll get kind of a first-hand report of what he's seeing inside Gaza.
So you have the Doctor of Calm and then Chris Mitchell.
No, I have Chris Mitchell, then the Doctor of Calm.
Oh, I see, the other way around. Okay.
Okay, so anyway, that's what's coming up.
Good enough. All right. Well, there is no shortage of cute pet videos on the internet these days, and boy, do we have one for you this morning.
Some dogs love squeaky toys, others love tennis balls, but one pup has discovered his true passion, a dinosaur mask. In a viral video, a man gives his dog a playful dinosaur headpiece, and instead of shaking it off like most pets would, this pup proudly struts around in it like he's the star of his own Jurassic Park sequel, and now, thanks to this video, he is. And the best part, he absolutely refuses to take it off.
I want to know where he got that mask. When the dog snapped at him and barked, the Jurassic Park, the dinosaur did too. That was pretty cool.
Wow.
Wow. Do you put masks on your dog?
No.
Do you take cute videos of your dog?
Well, yeah, you know, they're always fun to have around, you know.
Is there ever a lizard hanging out of his mouth?
Well,
or her mouth?
None of the lizards at our house have tails. None of them. You know. What drives our dog crazy is you throw something in the pool, and it can't get it.
Oh, it doesn't want to go in?
Well, it'll go to the first step, but it won't swim. Now, the other dog, Jason's dogs come over, they'll jump in They run and jump in.
I have a dog that if you throw a rock into the creek, it'll dive
and go for it
and go the rock underwater.
Wow.
No kidding. Yeah, he's not the smartest dog, but he does. He gets an A for effort.
Yeah, Reed defines dumb as a rock. Okay, hey, just a little bit of reminder, thought and some prayers to the Dr. James Dobson's family. The doctor passed away early this morning at the age of 89. There's so much to be said about Dr. Dobson and his years of advocacy for the family. He was a psychologist that wrote books on the family. He was an amazing person back in the early 80s and 90s. He would hold a conference and literally tens of thousands of people would come. He started Focus on the Family, and then he ended up with
Family Talk?
Family Talk. I said Parent Talk early. That was Dr. Kevin Lehman, Randy Crawford.
Oh, okay, yeah.
No, Family Talk. He started Family Talk, and we got to know him quite well. He's had the high honor of meeting him on many occasions at the NRB, and I actually spent some time at Focus on the Family and met him there. But and he came to the Rogue River, and he almost drowned a coffee pot down on the wild and scenic area. Yeah. But anyway, quite the guy, quite the outdoorsman, quite the athlete, but more than also, he was the strongest advocate for families, worked under 5 presidents.
Wow.
And but anyway, our thoughts and prayers to the family as Dr. Dobson went home to be with the Lord earlier this morning. I take with you Titus chapter 2, verse 14. Jesus gave himself for us to redeem us from all wickedness and to purify for himself a people that are his very own, eager to do what is good. Here's a question for you this morning. Did you wake up eager to do something good today? Try it. Stick around. I got some great conversation coming up.
Applegate River Golf and RV Resort, a pristine 9-hole course alongside the Applegate River. Their clubhouse offers a golf simulator experience. The RV Resort is adjacent to the golf course with convenient pull-through parking. Applegate River Golf and RV Resort. Information at applegaterv.com.
Combining your home and auto insurance could save you time and money. And who doesn't like that? Want surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life? Now's the time to call State Farm agent Rory Wold in Medford.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Big ideas grow.
Get ready, Southern Oregon. The ROC Recovery Center, together with NIC Industries, Southern Oregon Signs, Happy Camper, Nick Alexander Films, My Grace Point, and theDove is proud to present the 6th Annual Strong and Courageous Recovery Festival. Join us Saturday, September 6th at Harry and David Ballpark for a powerful day of hope, healing, and community. The action starts at 8 a.m. with an 8-team softball tournament featuring local businesses and recovery agencies. And don't miss the return of the fan favorite Guns N' Hoses game, as Medford and Central Point Police face off with local firefighters in the ultimate battle for the badges. Bring the whole family. Starting at 10 a.m., the Kids Carnival Zone opens with pony rides, a petting zoo, face painting, carnival booths, and of course, great food. All proceeds support recovery services at the Rock Recovery Center. For more information, call 541-200-3000 or visit rockrecoverycenter.org.
Paul Allen is a Minnesota sports icon.
The Vikings have a 9-0 lead.
And he sits down with CBN Sports' Tom Buring.
That's the first time that I've ever talked about this.
It's a Minneapolis Miracle!
If Jesus Christ were to join you as your guest in a booth, how would you introduce him?
Wow, is that a weird question, but it's a beautiful question.
Thursday on the 700 Club, right here on theDove TV.
Be encouraged.
Be informed.
Join us weekdays for Mornings on the Dove.
Right here on the Dove TV.
Well, welcome to Focus Today. I'm your host, Perry Atkinson. A lot in the news about tariffs, and I hear all kinds of reports and what is happening with them and the impact. What an honor for us to have with us today Spencer Morrison. He's the author of Reshore, How the Tariffs Will Bring Our Jobs Home and Revive the American Dream. There's a picture of the cover of the book. He's a lawyer, a law instructor, and he's also focused with applied philosophy, empirical history, and practical economics. He's the chief editor of the National Economics Editorial. And a little bit of that landing page there on the screen. But check out the book called Reshore, How Tariffs Will Bring Home Jobs and Revive the American Dream. Again, a picture of the book on the screen there. Spencer, good to see you. How are you, friend?
Hey, I'm doing very well. Thanks for having me on the show.
You bet. Thanks for your time. So much to talk about. Well, from what I understand, the tariff income has hit about $29 billion. Is that about right for July?
It sounds about right.
Okay. So how are we to interpret this? Because so many mixed feelings about tariffs, and you're obviously pretty bullish on it, but that's a lot of income.
It's a lot of income. And I think it's really important that we talk about the sort of the purpose of tariffs in the long run. And this goes all the way back to 1791 when Alexander Hamilton wrote this amazing work called The Report on Manufactures. Alexander Hamilton, maybe you guys have heard of him. I think he was in a play.
Yeah,
something
right.
like that.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Well, anyways, Hamilton said the tariffs really have two dual purposes. The first purpose is to raise income for the new government. And the reason that he chose tariffs is because tariffs are an avoidable tax, which means that if the tariffs are raised too high, people will just buy American, right? This limits the size of the federal government because it limits the amount of tax revenue that can be raised. And of course, it limits the amount of money that the government can borrow because nobody wants to borrow against lend to a government that can't raise further revenue. So that's the beautiful thing about tariffs being an avoidable tax. The second purpose of tariffs, though, and this is the more important purpose, was to stimulate domestic production, to industrialize the newfound country. And this is what tariffs were used for all throughout the 1800s. America had the highest average tariff rate in the world in the 1800s. And of course, it's no surprise that during that time, America industrialized and became the world's factory. So this is what tariffs are for, ultimately. They're to promote domestic industry and domestic economic growth. The revenue side of things, it's not quite as important. So when I hear that the tariff revenue numbers are going up, I think that's fine in the short run. But in the long run, what we really want to do is see lower tariffs because that means people are buying American.
We also have seen tariffs used as a bargaining chip, so to speak. They've gone up and down. I've been recently involved in some construction, and I actually had to stop because on something that I would buy with no tariff, all of a sudden had tariffs on it. So you stop buying it, and in anticipation it's going to go back down. But to your point, do you think we'll settle down to where the tariffs are more fair across the board?
Yeah, I think that's ultimately the hope. I mean, people have to understand and have a little bit of patience. America's run a large chronic trade deficit every year since 1974. So it took us 50 years to get to this point where the country is not making a lot of the things that we ultimately should be making. This isn't going to be something that's corrected in, 6 months. This is a multi-year project, and tariffs are sort of at the cutting edge of that. But it's not, tariffs alone won't fix it. There's other domestic reforms that we need to do. For example, we should be focusing on getting access to cheap energy. Reducing regulations is always a good thing. But all of that is kind of pointless without tariffs because of these differences in the cost of doing business between, America, China, India.
I don't think America understood the tariff issue until the president held up that chart. And quite frankly, this has kind of been a bone in his craw even back, 20, 30 years ago when he was a young businessman. He saw this. You saw the interviews, and you know that. He saw the imbalances. And when he held up the chart, American kind of goes, oh, yeah, we see that now. But at the same time, America is paying some higher prices on some things. What does that tell you?
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly correct. I think it's important to remember that the way that tariffs function, the point of them is actually to make imports more expensive. And ultimately, what flows from that is domestic production, because rather than buying the expensive imports, people will buy American products. So there's going to be a period of transition where it's likely that a lot of prices that we're importing a lot of products from are going to increase. But in the long run, what that's going to do is it's going to allow American entrepreneurs, American businessmen, American investors to build that manufacturing capacity here at home. And that will drive prices down in the long run. And I say that because that's what we saw for a century and a half up until, the trade paradigm shifted in the 1970s.
The other part that's coming out of this is the president obviously is focusing on making America not only the number one market in the world, but by far the number one market in the world, to the point where now manufacturers are coming here to set up business. And the one thing, I guess that is obviously good. It takes time, a couple of years for those things to be built and get online.
Yes, sir.
The other part is the labor costs of leaving China and coming here. How much of a factor is that?
Yeah, so the cost of labor is a relatively large factor when you're talking about manufactured products. However, it's becoming less important. And the reason for that is because workers are becoming a lot more productive due to automation, and we may see further gains from AI. So I think it's important to remember at this stage, so when a lot of these factories left, labor was a really big component. Now it's not so much. Materials costs, depending on the industry, are about 60% of the total cost of manufactured goods. Energy is, again, about 20%. Depending on the product, labor is maybe between 10 and 30% of the overall cost of the product. And I think we want an economy that prioritizes high labor prices, because the reality is that most Americans work for a living. Most Americans don't live on trust funds. So we want high labor prices. One of the things that we can do to offset that is to lower our materials costs and lower our energy costs. And if we were successful at doing that, the price of goods is not going to go up. But I think we have to remember that we want high labor prices. We don't want to be racing to the bottom and competing for labor costs against China. We can only lose that game.
So we're on track this year for possibly $150 billion generated from tariffs. Who's the winner in that?
Well, my hope is that the American people will ultimately be the winner of that, because the tariffs are going to cause the reshoring of American industry. Now, there is a risk, though. The risk is that if the tariffs aren't high enough, they won't stimulate the reshoring. And as a result, they will simply generate revenue. So there'll basically be another tax. So we need to be very, very careful to make sure that the tariffs are high enough that we're actually incentivizing companies to reshore. If not, we're just saddling ourselves with another tax. And I don't like taxes. Nobody should like taxes. Tariffs can be used in a way that is not really to generate revenue, though. So we have to be careful about how we use them. It's a really powerful tool, but the risk is there that we could be saddling ourselves with additional tax burdens, which we don't want in the long run.
How long do you think we'll be in this adjustment zone?
Depends how high the tariffs are, and it depends how stable they are going forward. So what President Trump needs to do is he needs to work with Congress to roll these tariffs into actual legislation, because we know that the Constitution gives Congress the power of the purse. So right now, all of this has been done under the president's delegated authority, but it doesn't have the staying power until Congress gets in on it, basically. So what we need is Congress to codify these tariffs for the long run. If that's done, I think that we're going to see an adjustment period. We could see an adjustment period of 2 years. That's what happened in the lead up to World War II. It could take longer than that if it's not done competently, though. And that's the risk of anything that the government does, is whether or not it's done competently.
Right, right. Is there an inflation risk with this?
Not particularly. What we've seen with the cost of goods is that, well, let me put it to you this way. When America was under a high tariff regime for over 100 years, from 1789 up until the end of World War II, the cost of living went down. We had a deflation. The inflation spikes have occurred after tariffs were abandoned. And the reason for that is because we've started offshoring our production, and we've created enormous foreign demand for US dollars. And this ultimately, this borrowing, is what's causing the inflation. And the borrowing is itself a symptom of massive foreign demand for American dollars, which is caused, again, by this huge trade deficit. So if we get into a productive economy that's exporting more goods than we're importing, that is going to help with the inflation rate in the long run.
Tariffs are also currently also being used to put political pressure on situations. I mean, that's got to be tough on Americans, but if we're going to put high tariffs on a country because we don't like what they're doing politically, can we survive that?
Yeah, I think it's a great point that tariffs also have a geopolitical element to them. And the reason for this is because America is the world's largest consumer market. Everybody wants to have their goods on our shelves because they know they're going to make money here. Denying them access to our shelves is sort of like a sanction, especially to a smaller country with a less developed consumer market. So tariffs can be used as a powerful political tool. Ultimately, the so-called damage that we could do to one of these countries is disproportionate to any effect that would be felt in America. And the reason for that is because Americans have the ability to manufacture almost all of the products that we're importing. And for the products that we don't have the ability to manufacture, we can source them elsewhere. So, for example, we don't have to buy coffee from Brazil. We can buy coffee from 15 other countries that are happy to sell us coffee.
Okay, looking back a little bit, there was a time where just about all of our manufacturing went to China. In that process, part of the deal was that they had access to the intellectual property relative to that manufacturing. And now there's a great incentive to bring all of that back. I guess my question, Spencer, looking back, with American industry leaving the country and going to Mexico, China, Japan, wherever they went, was that intentional?
It's hard to speculate. It certainly looks intentional, though, because the writing has been on the wall for many, many years. I mean, you look all the way back to Ross Perot and Pat Buchanan. I mean, they were talking about this even pre-NAFTA. Of course, President Donald Trump was talking about this, I think, on Oprah back in 1984. That was right at the start of this offshoring crisis. Mm-hmm. So a lot of really smart and, frankly, influential Americans have been talking about this issue for decades. And yet it's been steamrolled ahead. And all of the prognostications that these men, again, like Pat Buchanan, Ross Perot, and Donald Trump said, all of it came true. So they knew it was going to happen. So I think there's been a great financial incentive for certain players to do the offshoring.
Okay, but we're now creating a huge incentive for these manufacturers to come back, and they are slowly doing that.
That's the plan.
That's the plan.
That's the plan. We need more time to see if it's happening, though. I don't know if the rates are high enough across the board yet.
I'm just trying to figure out what in the world is in a Fortune 500 company that would do business in China and then allow them to have the intellectual property in addition to cheap labor. That's a high price, don't you think?
Well, not really. And the reason for that is because the cost of the technological theft is externalized to the American public at large. It's not really borne by the company because a lot of the companies that were manufacturing these products, all of their competition already had access to most of that technology. Mm. The difference was that all of that competition was American at one stage, and now it's not. Wow. So when you have a multinational company that doesn't care about borders, doesn't care about the American people, and their only incentive is profit and to outcompete their rivals. They don't really care if those costs are externalized on the American people.
All right, I'm going to get you back. We're out of time, but quickly, what do you want people to take away from Reshore?
I think the most important thing that they can get out of Reshore is to understand their own history. Tariffs are not a new solution. They're the classical American solution to these problems. These problems were faced by the Founding Fathers, and they've already been solved. So really, we should be looking to our own history to figure out how to deal with, offshoring to China or India.
That's well put. The book is entitled Reshore, How the Tariffs Will Bring Our Jobs Home and Revive the American Dream. There's a picture of the cover of the book on the screen there by Spencer Morrison. Available online, Amazon, etc.?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. And check out where he is editor-in-chief of the National Economic Editorial. And there's a picture of that landing page as well. Thank you, Spencer, for your time, buddy. Take care.
Thanks a lot. God bless.
You too.
Black Flag Armory offers top brand affordable rifles, shotguns, handguns, and gear. We also offer an array of classes emphasizing safety, self-defense, and accuracy. We strive to provide the absolute best possible experience when buying a firearm. Family friendly for every skill level, Black Flag Armory in Medford and Grants Pass. Online at blackflagarms.com or 541-499-0779. 541-499-0779.
Have you seen Mornings on the Dove?
Late for church. I'm pushing it a little bit. And the guy in front of me is dogging it. And you get maybe a little too close. So you're trying to push him a little bit. I got to get there. And you get to the church parking lot and they turn in front of you. So you watch which way they go when they go in the parking lot. You go the other way. And Pam says, I told you not to do that. Yeah. Okay. And she was right.
At Kelly's Automotive Service,
being good stewards of what God has entrusted to us
is at the core of our business.
We believe what we do matters.
Every interaction, every transaction is another opportunity
to bring Christ's values into the marketplace.
If you're a technician who wants to be part of something bigger,
or just looking for a new shop to bring your vehicle,
we would love to meet you.
We're Kelly's Automotive Service,
where we service your vehicle,
but take care of you.
Put your gold in an envelope, mail it. Hopefully you get a check. No. Father and son jewelry, bring your gold in. We weigh it, we check it, we make you the offer.
Or turn you something old into something new. Whether it's an idea, a picture, or a piece you want to duplicate, we can melt it down and make it for you.
If you find your perfect piece in store, trade your something old for something new, and you always get a little extra.
Visit Father and Son Jewelry, 5 generations of family in Medford.
Okay, welcome back. Boy, what an honor, and the timing for all of this is just amazing. I am always honored, and I mean that sincerely, when we have time to check in with Chris Mitchell. He's the host of Jerusalem Dateline, which is seen right here on the Dove Television Network. He's also CBN News Middle East Bureau Chief, and he is just an amazing guy. I don't know when he actually sleeps. JerusalemDateline.com is the website, JerusalemDateline.com. Chris, buddy, good to see you. How are you, man?
Wow. I'm good, Perry. How are you? Great to see you, too.
Yeah. We pray often for you. You're still standing on 2 feet.
I am. Well, it's because people like you are praying and others, so that keeps us going.
Wow. All right, you just got back from Gaza. You were there at a distribution center. The whole thing in Gaza is just an amazing thing.
Yeah.
What did you see there? Give us a report for what you saw there.
Sure. I was at a distribution site for what's called the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. They have 4 distribution sites inside Gaza right now. The one we went to used to be Rafah. Rafah is not what it was at all, but they are building 4 more distribution sites. The reason behind these sites and all the infrastructure that they have in place is to provide humanitarian aid and food to the people of Gaza, as opposed to what's been happening almost since the beginning of the war war is much of the humanitarian aid going into the Gaza Strip has been stolen by Hamas. It's been looted. It's been resold to many of the people of Gaza. In fact, U.S. Ambassador Mike Huckabee estimates that last year Hamas made about $500 million. And what they do with that money is to recruit fighters, to buy weapons, and continue the fight against Israel. So this effort by the GHF is designed to bypass Hamas and provide free food and humanitarian aid to the people of Gaza. Hamas is actually selling this aid. The GHF is giving it free of charge. In fact, I was told when this first started, many of the people were just stunned and surprised that there was no charge to the food. What we saw today, Perry, was and something that they're evolving. They're learning what these people need. They're providing potatoes, they're providing onions, and they're providing boxes of meals that will take a family of five, at least five, for 3.5 days, provide 3 meals a day, about 58 meals in just one of these boxes. And so these people come every day, literally by the thousands, Perry. They were just thousands of people there. What you first see is you see young men coming in, literally running, and they take the aid. Some of that is market people that take the aid and resell it. And then you have the women that come, literally thousands of women, much more orderly, and they wait for their food and they get their food. We talked to a couple of the women today, and they said, really, this is the only food that they get for their families. And they're quite thankful for what's provided for them.
Wow. So is the gap closing from the food getting directly to the Palestinians without being hijacked by Hamas?
Well, that's the idea behind these distribution sites. And for right now, hopefully double that. And there's actually reports that they would like to quadruple that to 16 sites. It does take time for them to build up and provide these sites. But that's the idea, to be able to provide as much food as possible. One thing we found out is that a lot of the security there, former special ops, and we talked to some of them, and they feel like this is like one of the most important missions of their life. It's a simple mission. They just want to feed people, and they just want to provide a safe place where they can get that food and that aid. So that was actually really touching. The heart of these guys, of what they want to do. You had special forces guys opening up bags of onions and potatoes and distributing them. Not your typical idea of what a special ops guy does, right. But that's what they're doing. They just have a heart to serve.
Gosh, that's wonderful. We've seen pictures of airdrops. Are they continuing?
They are. They're continuing, but they're probably the least amount of aid that does go into Gaza. Trucks are the main way of going, but sadly, many of those trucks, get looted, get hijacked by Hamas or other gangs. But the airdrops are continuing. So you have the trucks that are going in, you have the airdrops, and you have the GHF. And hopefully the GHF will continue to increase its ability to reach the people. The UN, sadly, is really not that very helpful in many ways. They have underestimated, for example, the number of trucks going in, say, in July. Israel let in about 9,200. The UN is only saying about a third of that actually went in. But so that's it, being, I would say, to be kind, unhelpful.
Are other organizations allowed in to help?
They are. There are some NGOs. There's some UN-affiliated NGOs that are helping out, and other NGOs. Some of them will cooperate with the GHF. Some choose not to. But there are a number of different NGOs that are participating in the humanitarian aid going into Gaza.
Do you think the word is getting out? Who is supplying the food to the Gazans and to obviously the Palestinians? Is the word getting out that who's supplying it, and that they really are interested in their overall well-being away from and apart from Hamas?
Yeah, hopefully the word is getting out. Hopefully, one of our reports can add information about that. But Israel, and I was just quoting an information from the IDF. The certainly Israel is facilitating massive amounts of humanitarian aid going into Gaza. Right now, we're on the cusp of what's called Operation Gideon Chariots 2. And that is the military operation to encircle Gaza City. And finally, this will maybe one of the last stands for Hamas and defeat them militarily. What they're doing right now, and I was just reading from an IDF report, that they are contacting the medical personnel in Gaza City and telling them they want to evacuate the people and they want to get them to a safe zone down south. They're also asking these medical personnel what they need as they go and as they prepare field hospitals or other hospitals so that the people in Gaza City that need medical attention can get it when they get down south. As I was saying on I was on with Gordon Robertson just a few minutes ago, and I said that certainly doesn't sound like a country that wants to commit genocide against the people of Gaza.
No question. So what does that tell you? Something's about to happen?
Well, it looks like they're on the cusp of their effort into Gaza City. They've called up 60,000 reservists. They have about 5 divisions preparing to go in. I think the timetable has been increased, or it's getting faster now. That's according to Prime Minister Netanyahu. But we are on the verge. There's also been reports as well, Perry, about the possibility of a ceasefire and a deal for the hostages. We'll see if that materializes. But right now, in terms of the military action, they're actually beginning that operation right now.
Back to the distribution centers. When you talk to those people as they're receiving the food and the aid, what do you think their mood is?
Well, they're very grateful for the aid, and that's what the ladies that we talked to were very, very grateful, saying one of them said, "This is the only food that I get from my family." So they're very grateful. Another told us, they want the war to end. I was impressed by the resilience of these people. Many walk for a few miles to get to the distribution site. They wait a long time, sometimes a couple of hours. It was very hot down there today. And the mood, I would say, they're struggling to meet ends for their family. So another told us, they simply want the war to be over. They want to be able to go back to what it used to be. They want to be able to provide for their families. So I think the mood would be incredible resilience and then trying to just do what they can to survive.
Back to a potential ceasefire, Chris. It's been reported over here that Hamas has suggested a ceasefire under the terms earlier presented by Witkoff, that if they were to come up with a ceasefire, that half the hostages would be released. Is that back on the table?
It seems to be, and it seems that Hamas originally rejected that proposal, and then when Israel was going forward with its Operation Gideon's Chariots 2 and saw the prospect of a military defeat, they seemed to go back and accept at least some of the proposals in the Witkoff deal. So we'll see. I've heard as low as 10, and then there would be maybe 150 Palestinian prisoners that actually had been part of October 7th or had been part of murdering Israelis would be released. So it seemed how the details work out, we don't know. But it's seemingly, at least as our conversation right now, a possibility there might be a ceasefire.
Back over to the feeling in Israel itself and the citizens. Are they coming to a fatigue level? They want the war over. We know there's 50 hostages. We know that, maybe 20 might be alive, the bodies of 30 others. Are they getting to the point where no matter what, in the war?
Some are, I think, Perry. I think the country itself probably is all suffering PTSD. after nearly 2 years of war. Hundreds of rockets fired by Iran last year and this year. And almost everybody is affected by October 7th, knowing somebody that was murdered, somebody that was kidnapped. Then you add to that nearly 1,000 IDF soldiers that have died in the fighting. Everyone has been affected by this emotionally, and I think it's a very difficult ordeal. But there are some, and there are some that want the war to be over now. And that's why you can see many of the protests, say, in Tel Aviv. But there are other Israelis that feel we don't want the sacrifice of our sons and daughters to be in vain. We want to make sure that we defeat Hamas militarily, that they no longer pose a threat to the Jewish people and certainly around the Gaza envelope. So there is a difference. And that's why, Perry, I would say for everybody listening, it's so important to be praying that there would be a godly outcome to this horrible ordeal for the last 2 years for the people of Israel, for the people of Gaza as well. That God would give wisdom to the leaders as they make just life and death decisions, just with such weight and gravitas and responsibility. Pray for wisdom. Pray for Prime Minister Netanyahu, President Trump, and all those that are making, such weighty decisions, historic decisions, and biblical decisions. So important to be praying for our leaders right now.
Amen. I was just going to ask you that, biblically, prophetically, how are you processing this? You're right there in the heart of it. How are you processing
we are living in, I think since October 7th, Perry, we're kind of in a new era. And I think there are so many changes in Israel, in the Middle East, in the world right now, that we are seeing prophecy unfold. Just yesterday, there were 225 olim. That's a Hebrew word that means immigrants coming in to Israel. Even despite the war, the largest amount that have come in since October 7th, where that is prophecy unfolding. You see that the Jewish people are returning, just like the prophets Ezekiel, Isaiah, Jeremiah said more than 2,000 years ago would come, and here they are coming. Mm-hmm. I think we're seeing so many signs of the times, not only these wars and rumors of wars, but earthquakes. It's time to look up, for our redemption draweth nigh, and also I think a time to be prepared to do what God has called each one of us to do, wherever we may be, and so that when we see him face to face, you'll be able to say, well done, good and faithful servant. Enter into the joy of your Lord.
Amen to that. Is there any lamenting of not finishing the job in Iran?
To some, it seemed like the 12-day war was prematurely ended, that they could have gone further and it could have done more to undermine the regime that has kept the Iranian people hostage for 40 years or more. And I think there is that sense. However, it's very hard to, go against the U.S. that wanted to, President Trump that wanted to end the war. There is still ongoing fighting going on inside Iran. There's a sense that the regime still is floundering, but we'll see. There is the hope and prayer of many that there would be not only the Abraham Accords, but the Cyrus Accords, because historically and throughout the time of the Bible, there had been great relations between the people of Persia and the people of Israel.
If the Abrahamic Accord is extended and, say, Saudi Arabia comes in, what does that do to Qatar?
Well, that's a great question. Qatar has been such the not only the arsonist, but also the fireman. They've been playing a duplicitous game but that many believe here in Israel. They have supported Hamas, funded Hamas. They fund a lot of terror groups around the world, and yet they for the West, they present a whole different presentation. So if Saudi Arabia comes in, that could leave Qatar on the outside, but we'll see. They influence a lot of people, Perry, in the West. They use their almost unlimited war chest to present, a picture of Hamas, a picture of the whole battle between Hamas and Israel in a whole different light than you and I would see it.
Yeah, it's hard to turn down free 747s.
Oh, well, that's one thing. Exactly. Yeah.
Where's Syria in all this now?
Well, right now, it's an interesting development in Syria. You've heard of what Sweda had happened. It seems like a lot of the military in Syria right now are former jihadists. And it seems like which way is Syria going to go? There was a meeting between, I think, Syria's foreign minister and Ron Dermer, who's the Minister of Strategic Affairs here in Israel. It's be interesting to see which way it goes. They seem to be heavily influenced by Turkey, and Erdogan seems to be no friend Israel, calling it a terror state. So we'll see what goes. Al-Jilani, or Al-Shahar, I should say, is a former member of Al-Qaeda. So the question for many is, can a leopard change its spots? And whether or not which way Syria will go. It's certainly, I think, in the minds of many Israelis, still a threat.
Chris, you're remarkable. Do you feel safe?
Yes. Yes, I do. We felt safe there in Gaza today. And that's just people praying like you. And it's just the Holy Spirit just guiding us and leading us and, keeping us safe and keeping our hearts safe as well. So, yes, we do. Certainly there are dangers and we don't take them lightly, but we pray a lot and just ask the Lord what and where we should go.
Chris, thank you. You interrupted a very, very busy day to give us time. We value it greatly. Let me say to our viewers and listeners, put Chris and his team on your prayer list. He's right in the heart of everything over there. Of course, you'll see his program here, Jerusalem Dateline on the Dove TV network, and that is also his website, JerusalemDateline.com. And I understand more coming from CBN on special programs about Israel. Is that true?
It is true. In fact, I was just at a taping with Gordon. It's called the 700 Club Israel. It's going to be a half-hour weekly program that will focus specifically on Israel. That's where I was just a few minutes ago. So, I'm sure the Dove TV may want to carry that as well.
Well, we're already signed up. We're already signed up.
Oh, great.
Yeah, good.
And I want to thank you, Perry, for your prayers, and it's really honored to be with you and
thank you.
Everybody there at Dove TV.
All right. Thank you, buddy. God bless. Take care.
Thanks.
July is Wild About Wildlife Month, and it's a wild night every Wednesday, with kids' tickets half off at Hellgate Jet Boat Excursions. Every Wednesday, it's a wild river experience with exciting jet boat spins and dinner at the Hellgate River Lodge. Plus, kids get their own adventure pack and a chance to meet real animal ambassadors from Wildlife Images. Get on board for a night of wildlife and adventure with the Ultimate Kids Night. Call now to book. Some restrictions apply. Visit hellgate.com for details.
It's your time to fly. It's your journey. Let's make it friendly. We are your airport. Fly MFR.
Hey, this is Ed, co-owner of Visiting Angels. To continue to serve our seniors, we need more caregivers with a heart to serve. Our mission statement is honoring the art of giving, which means we honor you, the caregiver. We know it's our people that make Visiting Angels the best in-home care provider and a great place to work. Come be our next amazing caregiver. Give us a call or apply online. At Visiting Angels, we're committed to you because we honor the art of giving.
30 seconds or less. That's the length of a soundbite in a typical news story. If you're lucky, you can't really learn much in 30 seconds. It takes time to ask questions, learn, and explore the facts to really understand. Focus Today on the Dove TV and Radio does just that. We give you an hour covering several issues and newsmakers in depth. So don't settle for quick soundbites. Get to the heart of a story and understand better. Focus Today, weekdays on the Dove TV and Radio.
Well, welcome back. And, well, I tell you what, Power Pack Day here. Great to be with our good friend, Dr. Gene Getz. He's the chief editor of the Life Essential Study Bible, one of the great resources of our day. And there's the box that it comes in. And if you don't have one of these, well, you're just missing out. Go get one. Go online to Bible Principles. You can get one there. I do know a lot of the local bookstores do carry them. It's called Bible Principles. And if you go online, you can also download the app. And this is an amazing resource with over 1,500 QR codes from Genesis to Revelation, where Dr. Getz pops up and when you run your QR reader over that in a video and walks you through that portion of Scripture. So let me tell you, it is an amazing resource. There he is, my buddy. How you doing, friend?
Doing great. Yeah. Hey, very interesting conversation.
With Chris.
I was just listening in.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he just, I mean, like hours ago, he spent most of the day, of course it's evening over there now, but he spent most of the day in Gaza at the distribution center making sure that the food gets into the hands of the right people. Pretty amazing.
It is absolutely amazing, and a lot of mixed emotions, you know, in relationship to what's happening there. On the one hand, understanding Israel's desire to make sure that they never, ever are attacked again. On the other hand, the hostages and the Palestinian people, wow, we just need to lift them up in prayer.
Yeah, it's, have you ever seen somebody that's trying to end a war and protect people, innocent people at the same time? It's an amazing operation, getting the food out, telling people to get out, and providing them the way to get out. I mean, it's, you talk about strategy. Wow.
Yeah, and of course, the other thing that is so disturbing is the false narrative that comes out to the people generally and is promoted by the left, particularly in relationship to outright lies relative to Israel. That's another sad commentary.
Gene, just as another side note, I know you're saddened, but are you surprised by the rise of anti-Semitism in America?
Surprised? I'm surprised. Yeah. Where did that come from? All of a sudden, obviously it's been there, being promoted, particularly at the university level. But it is, honestly, I'd have to say I was surprised. It took me off guard that attitude is here.
Yeah.
And so strong.
It is. It is. God help us. God help us. Well, listen, we selected something here, you and Polina did, to talk about something that I think is amazing. It's out of the Old Testament, the book of Exodus, deals with complete obedience. Scripture's pretty clear that obedience is better than sacrifice. And I can tell you this, sometimes obeying is hard.
It is.
Very hard. Walk us through this principle.
Well, the principle, as I've worded it, Perry, is that we're to determine in our hearts to obey God fully. And of course, the New Testament is pretty clear, Paul stating that what happened to Israel in terms of the negatives particularly are written down so that we can learn. And in this particular situation, Israel had come out of Egypt, and God had miraculously provided for them, bringing them across the Red Sea, and provided water from the rock and so forth, and provided them with food. Even though they complained, God listened and provided them with meat and gave them instructions. And then they turn right around and they disobey the Lord, particularly in this setting in terms of the Sabbath. And you see that again and again as they walk through the wilderness, and eventually suffered serious consequences. But the principle that emerges here is that as believers, we've got to purpose in our hearts that we're going to be obedient to the Lord. And I think there are two I was just reflecting on this myself this morning as I was reviewing to get ready to chat with you. And I think there are two levels of obedience that we need to look at. I mean, there's what I'd call primary disobedience involving ethics and immorality. And those are things that, as Christians, if we don't purpose in our hearts to listen to the will of God and to walk in the will of God, in Hebrews it's pretty clear we're going to suffer the consequences because we have a loving Heavenly Father who will discipline us. But I think there are some secondary issues that it's so easy to disobey in our lives. And I was reflecting on this with the question, reflection and response. What are some of the exhortations in Scripture you most often fail to obey, and why? And I couldn't help but think, and I didn't have this one in the video, but one morning I was sitting at the breakfast table with Elaine, my wife, and I pushed away and I was getting ready to leave. And she just gently said, Gene, I have sensed lately that prayer has become secondary in your life. And it's not a primary issue. And boy, that one hit me because I had to stop and think, you can get in a hurry. Life is filled with pressures, and we can neglect some of these very important exhortations. In this case, where the exhortation is pray without ceasing. In other words, it should be a part of our life. And I needed that exhortation because that had not become a priority, in our relationship. And ever since then, I've not always been as consistent as I want to be, but boy, I needed that exhortation to spend time, with my wife in prayer. And that's a very meaningful time for us. But I had to prioritize that. I had a purpose in my heart. I'm not going to neglect this very important issue in my life.
Do you think, I hear you loud and clear. I saw an interview the other day with Senator Scott out of Carolina, and he kind of mentioned the same thing, that he's so busy doing what God called him to do that one day on his way to the Capitol, he felt the Holy Spirit talk to him. He said, yeah, you're doing everything I called you to do, but you're not spending any time with me. And it nailed him. Yeah, it just
right. Yeah,
nailed
and
him.
Yeah, Elaine nailed me too. I needed that.
So I guess my question is this: if we're not in the Word, how do we know what to be obedient to?
That's right, and we've got to be in the Word. We've got to understand the directives of Scripture. I would think that our particular culture, society, as evangelicals, particularly if we believe that God's Word is His Word, the Bible is His Word, that we're pretty well aware of issues in our lives, particularly issues that involve immorality, involve ethics. And again, one of the things that really hit me, Perry, particularly coming out of a very legalistic background, which is the other side of the situation. But the thing that really grabbed me was what Paul wrote to Titus in terms of our lives as believers. And he said this: for the grace of God has appeared, bringing salvation. In other words, it's God's grace and faith in God's grace that brings salvation. However, we are to be committed to His workmanship created in Christ Jesus in our lives. And so he goes on to say here, the grace of God not only brings us salvation, but in view of that, it instructs us to deny godlessness, worldly lust, and to live a sensible, righteous, and godly way in the present age while we wait for the blessed hope and appearing of the glory of our great God and Savior Jesus Christ, gave himself for us to redeem us from all lawlessness, to cleanse for himself a people for his own possession, eager to do good works. And the thing that really hit me there is really what Paul said in Romans chapter 6, when he said, in view of God's grace, should we continue in sin that grace may abound? He said, absolutely not. So one of the things that should really motivate us to live in God's will and to purpose in our hearts to walk in his will is his grace that he revealed to us. And in the Old Testament, of course, the children of Israel really neglected that grace that God extended even to them in delivering them, from Egypt. So I think about that, God's grace, his free gift, what he's given us. How can we do otherwise than to purpose in our hearts that we're going to walk in his will, to grow more and more, not that we'll ever be perfect. Paul said, I'm not perfect. I'm still in process. But that progressive sanctification should be taking place in our lives until we're ultimately transformed into his image when he comes.
Wow. Do you think we should pray for the conviction of obedience?
Yes, but one of the things I think Christians struggle with, I know I have, is that when I know I'm walking out of the will of God, the pleasures of sin, obviously, are strong. Moses talked about that. But the problem is that you can get so enamored with the pleasures of sin, you don't want to pray. That's not a part of your heart. And that's why we have to purpose in our hearts that we're going to do the will of God. And yes, in answer to your question, we certainly ought to pray that God will convict us if we're walking out of the will of God. But as I said, the danger is that if you're walking out of the will of God, you don't want to pray.
We won't have time to go into the New Testament one today, but I want to just stick here just for a moment. I helped a pastor the other day, and I'm still kind of processing this in my brain, who is in sin. And my concern was, how could you possibly continue to preach knowing you're in sin? Where is the disconnect? What happened to you that you couldn't even be obedient to the basics and still get up there and perform? And don't you realize you're basically operating on borrowed time? It's just a matter of time before the Lord pulls the rug.
Right. Well, to me, the word that comes immediately to mind is rationalization. How easy it is to rationalize.
Right.
And in his particular situation, people are probably responding to him. He's just convinced himself that he can walk on two sides of the street, in the sense of straddling what is God saying he should not be doing, and at the same time, he's used to doing what he's doing, and he's just rationalizing it.
Yeah.
And I think eventually God's rope is pretty long, his grace rope, but if he truly knows the Lord's going to pull him in.
Yeah.
And he's going to suffer the consequences.
Well,
but rationalization is so easy to rationalize.
Oh, is it ever? Is it ever? So, Gene, give us an update on what you're doing with the Life Essential Study Bible. A lot of I was standing in Costco. It's kind of like the new marketplace. It's kind of like the city square these days. What, you haven't seen somebody in a long time go to Costco, you run into them. And I'm standing there in line, and this lady comes up to me and says, I cannot get over how much they enjoy buying your Bible and getting into it. So you're making an impact out there, but perhaps people don't know that you're in prisons, you're in foreign languages, you're in Spanish. Give us an update.
Right. Well, one of the exciting things, appreciate the question, because as I sat right here where I'm sitting today in my board meeting, we had a young lady who lives in Egypt a great part of the time, wonderful believer. But she has coordinated under the direction of an organization that became so interested in the Life Essential Study Bible that they have, and this is just mind-boggling, I gave them permission, I had the right to do that from the publisher, to take all of my videos for Middle Eastern languages. And I'm not featured, but my words are, my commentaries are, and they're all taught by people who speak that particular language, whether it's Arabic or Turkish or other languages. And she was sharing with our board how they have now translated all of my videos and my commentaries into 10 different Middle Eastern languages, which includes 15 different dialects. And they've had over 15 million downloads to those videos. And they don't walk around with Bibles, but they walk around with their phones. And they have created apps that they can use to download all the videos. And we just sat there as we listened to her share what's happening. And also, right now, they're getting ready to do it in Farsi so that all of the videos can be seen and heard in Iran and related countries that speak Farsi. So, that's something that I'm thrilled. I'm not featured because it's much better for them to hear people in their own language teaching this material. And they translate it basically word for word. And we just sat there and we're thrilled with what God's doing.
Oh, gosh. Well, let me say to our viewers and listeners, you can go to BiblePrinciples.org. That's Gene's website. And you can order one of these Bibles from there. I do know that the local bookstores in our area carry them as well. Evangel and Christian Discount Books have them. And but you can also download the app. And you talk about, as we go into the holiday season, you talk about a great gift. This would make a great gift. Is it still that when you buy one online, you give one away? Are you still doing that?
That's right. Yeah. For every Bible we sell, we're able to give one away. In fact, we just shipped 90 Bibles to Zimbabwe for pastors and another 100 and some to 3 other countries. So yeah, God just keeps opening the door. Every one they buy through us, we can give one away.
Go to BiblePrinciples.org. That's the place to do it. Gene, good to see you. You're looking really good and healthy. So proud of you, friend. God bless you.
Thank you. God bless you, too.
Okay.
Applegate River Golf and RV Resort, a pristine 9-hole course alongside the Applegate River. Their clubhouse offers a golf simulator experience. The RV Resort is adjacent to the golf course with convenient pull-through parking. Applegate River Golf and RV Resort. Information at applegaterv.com.
Put your gold in an envelope, mail it. Hopefully you get a check. No. Father and son jewelry, bring your gold in. We weigh it, we check it, we make you the offer.
Or turn you something old into something new. Whether it's an idea, a picture, or a piece you want to duplicate, we can melt it down and make it for you.
If you find your perfect piece in store, trade your something old for something new, and you always get a little extra.
Visit Father and Son Jewelry, 5 generations of family in Medford.
where big ideas grow.
It can be puzzling, assembling all the right pieces for your insurance needs in retirement. I'm Michelle Slate. Lighthouse Financial shines guiding light on retirement, investing, and insurance. Guiding you through the stormy seas of insurance, Lighthouse stands out as a